Yes, good morning. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. We start with the sad news today that unfortunately Ange Postecoglou hasn't been sacked. Sorry, hate to break it to you all. He is still the Tottenham Hotspur manager. I don't know how. I know. I can hear you all saying, "Shut up, Savva, you're lying." I know. He is still the Tottenham Hotspur manager. Beggars belief. The worst manager we've ever had is still our manager. Apparently, because he's beaten some really crap teams in the Europa League. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. A lot of the Ange fans have gone very quiet now. They've got nothing to say. They've been proven very, very wrong. Very wrong. And you know what? I've had a lot of fans in the last couple of weeks actually message me and go, "Do you know what, Savva, I was Ange, I was wrong, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, fair enough. You've seen it. There are still some that actually like this manager. Now, I've got a lot of different things to show you today. I've invited loads of people on, so who knows who might turn up. But I'm going to start by saying this. What I can't understand, I was just thinking about this morning, getting ready for this show. Why does anyone like this manager? Like, what is it? He's not a nice man. He comes across as a horrible bloke. In his press conferences, the way he speaks to fans, he's very confrontational. In his interviews, no one can question him. His substitutions are crap. There's no in-game management. There's no tactics. The results are crap. I'm struggling for anybody to tell me what they like. And by the way, I've watched 3 different Spurs YouTubers this morning. I watched the start of their videos. And they all start as though they're being paid by the club. They start with this. "I like Ange, but..." What? Why do you need to start with the "I like Ange"? What? Explain to us. "I like Ange, but..." But what? What do you mean? Why do you like Ange? Why? Why can no Ange fan actually explain what it is about this manager they've seen in the last 2 years that makes them go, "This is our guy. This is the one. We're progressing. Look at this." Why can no one explain that to me? Not one Ange fan is actually able to explain that. And in the last 48 hours, right? In the last 48 hours, what I've had is different YouTubers. They change their message now. Now the message is, "Well, Savva, you wanted Conte. You didn't want Conte. You wanted an attacking manager. This is what you get." I've got a little question about that. Sorry, is this attacking football? Sorry, they think this is attacking football. Then it's the squad. Now the squad isn't good enough. No one was saying that before. No one was saying that before. Now, apparently, the squad is not good enough to even qualify for the Conference League via Europe, right? No one was saying this to me before. None of these YouTubers made videos in the summer saying, "You know what? We're going to finish 8th to 15th. None of them. None of them were doing it. Every YouTuber I saw was, second, third, or fourth. And then you get the ones that are normally quite honest and, the likes of Danny and the likes of Stell, etc., Mr. Box Office, who gave reasonable, honest opinions. So what has changed? What has changed? Because I am going to read you out something that Perchi has asked me to read this out to you. Okay. So I never read people's personal WhatsApp messages to me unless they say, da, 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 da. And I'm going to show you that he does say, "This is for your show." Okay. And Reezy, no, he is not charismatic. He is not a charismatic man in any way, shape, or form. Now, the man I've just brought on screen, Mark, he's charismatic. Ange Postecoglou is not charismatic. I'll come to you in 1 second, Mark. I'm going to just show something that Perchi sent to me this morning. And this, for me, pretty much sums it up. Perchi said this to me. You can see that he said this to me because it's the actual WhatsApp from Perchi to me, right? You can see that. I'm not lying. It is the actual WhatsApp to me. He has said, "Can you please address this for me on your show? What is it with the excuses and the diversion tactics from Spurs fans? It's different once one thing changes. 1 minute, it was injuries, then referees, then fixture congestion, then injuries again. Now it's the league is done. Sorry, but it's becoming so boring that people like us have been bang on the money with this manager, are vilified for calling out factual information. Every team in the bottom 13 have changed managers, bar Spurs and Ipswich. Are we now saying that this team is just a club happy to be in the Premier League? This manager is in a job, it seems, for beating Karabag, Ferencvaros, Hoffenheim, Elfsborg, and Alkmaar. Let that sink in. Now, Mark, when you look at that from Perchie, he's absolutely bang on. Those of us that have been very, very right about this manager still are told we're wrong. Yeah. Still get no credit for actually, you know what you said was actually, you were right. He's bang on the money with that WhatsApp, isn't he? Or do you disagree?
No. Of course he is. But I put in nearly every chat, your channel, every channel I watch. This is the worst manager I've seen in my life, in my 50 plus years supporting this club.
Yep.
You know, I mean, if we keep him, I won't be surprised if we get relegated next season. It depends how good the teams are that come up. You know, like Leeds is coming up and the other two. You know, it's terrible. It's terrible. He's living off of that first 10 games.
Yep.
The first 10 games. The first 10 games when we were top of the league. Right? Now there was a stat, and I'm sure I said this on your charity phone-in. There was a stat that because Sky Sports is full of stats. When you're top after 10 games, it sounds like 96% of the teams get top four.
Yeah.
Get top four by the end of the season. Not a lot win it. You know, a few percent, whatever.
Yeah.
And then it was second, third, but 96% get top four. We somehow are in the 4% that don't, because we finished fifth. Right? Now, and Ian Lubin made a good point as well. If you take the first 10 games out of it and look at the rest of it, the rest of that season, we were like 12th or so. We'd have finished 12th.
Yeah.
You know, and that's about where we are now. You know, so nothing's got better. It's getting worse, if anything. It's not like any other manager I've seen. You know, because some come in and they're just not that good and we bumble along for a bit and then they go. And then the next one comes in, we bumble along and then they go as well. But I know I keep saying his name, but when Pochettino come here, right, you could see the upward progression of the team. Yes, he struggled for a few months, but you could see the upward progression. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Mark, this is the difference.
We're going like,
This is the difference. When people say managers need time, Mark, I think you and I agree that yes, managers need time, but we also agree that what you've got to see is you've got to see improvements. You've got to see an upward trajectory. Sorry, trajectory. Right?
Yes.
We have seen the opposite. We've seen a downward trajectory for 18 months.
Well, the first 10 games, it shot up. It shot up. But then just as quickly, it shot down.
Yeah.
And now we're sort of just bumbling along and still going down.
Listen, Matt, by the way, of course you are welcome here. You said earlier in the show, am I not welcome here? Of course you're welcome here. Right? Of course you are. You're more welcome right now than my bloody puppy, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. Right? You're more welcome here than him. Right? Yeah, you're a little... Yes, you. God,
I keep putting in your comments, Savva. Can you remember Barbara Woodhouse from back in the day? The one you say sit and all that.
Yes. Yep.
She'd sort him out.
Right. He's in puppy training at the moment, but normally he has his breakfast and then we have a couple of hours of the Zoomies running around and stuff. So I'm just, come on, take that. Good boy. Yeah. The thing is, there is no upward trajectory, and that's the problem. No. And Matt, you're more than welcome. You can find the positives, Matt, but the problem is it's not true, is it? All of the positives you want to throw out aren't actual They're not real positives. They're hope. You can't tell me anything factually. You can't tell me anything factually that's positive. Now, look, I want to show a few things today. I want to show a few things, right? And Mark, for me, what's made me laugh the most? It's actually made me smile a bit because my club is an absolute mess. That's not the bit that's made me smile. The bit that's made me smile is how wrong people like Matt are and Reezy are of wait until the players come back from injury. We were told, wait until players come back from injury. You're going to see us play better. It looks like we're getting worse since the players have come back from injury, man. Yeah. It actually looks like we've got worse.
The thing
I'm genuinely not sure what they're seeing.
No, the thing is with all this, I will be all right when the players come back. You just got to look at the games we've lost when they all have been here. When Romero and Van der Ven have played, we've lost to what? Ipswich, Crystal Palace, all these teams given their first win. Fulham. Well, Van der Ven won there, but at least one of the.
But you're never going to have your full How often do teams have their full 11 for a lot of games in a row? It's a squad game.
No, yeah. Well, you only got to look at Newcastle yesterday. Newcastle still have players missing, and they win the bloody Carabao Cup.
And how good were they, Mark? How good were Newcastle?
Fantastic. They played Liverpool exactly how you should play Liverpool. Hit them. And I'd just like to say Dan Burn was on loan at my hometown in 2013.
Do you know what? Funny you mentioned Dan Burn, and you know me on this show, guys. We're going to go off in tangents. But the funny thing is, Mark, is we need some Dan Burns. We need some really steady 7 out of 10 players a week. Now, I don't look at Dan Burn and go, oh my God, you're amazing. But I look at Dan Burn and go, Mr. Consistent. Right?
Does his job.
Mr. Consistent does his job, right? For some reason, if Spurs buy players like that, our fans lose their minds, right?
Yeah.
Our fans would lose their mind. We said this about, I don't know if you remember in the summer, I said, I'll tell you what, I want Livramento. I said, he's a really good footballer. Yeah. I want Livramento. Oh, he's not better than anything we've got. Livramento would be the best fullback at this football club by a country mile, right?
I said this, can you remember in the summer when we were all predicting where Tottenham were going to finish? I think I said about 7th or something, 6th or 7th, something like that. But you look at where Forest are now. If we'd have bought Forest players, I can't remember who's in their defence, but if we'd have bought any of them, the fans would have gone mad.
Well, Mark, Danny and I, in the summer, when Nottingham Forest were linked to Milenkovic, who was at Fiorentina, won the Conference League with them, we said, get him. He's 12 million euros.
Yeah.
Get him. Our fan base, nearly everyone in my chat, nah, he's not that good.
Rubbish.
Look at him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the difference is, some of these players, they aren't the biggest names in the world. They aren't the sexiest names in the world. But you know what? They rock up. They do their job. Look at Newcastle's midfield three.
Yeah.
What has stopped Spurs doing anything like that? What stopped us going to get a Tonali, who, by the way, I think is an excellent midfielder. I'll come to you, Corey.
Oh, yeah.
Tonali is an excellent midfielder, right? Joe Linton was a failed striker that Eddie Howe in 3.5 years has turned into one of the better midfielders in the Premier League, right? Guimaraes. What's stopping us going to buy a Bruno Guimaraes? What, were Newcastle bigger than us when they bought Bruno Guimaraes?
Not a chance.
Corey,
no.
How are Newcastle so much better than Tottenham when we've spent so much more money?
They seem to have a better scouting network in place, really, don't they? Once the Don was hit with that ban, it was a scramble to try and find your next best scout, and we've been lumbered with Lange, who is a joke, and Villa are pretty much sitting there laughing at us now, aren't they?
Sure.
You're going on about Milinkovic, man. I was always looking at this guy when he was playing for Fiorentina. What a defender, 12 million still. But because people see the price tag, they think shit player when they don't really do the whole research on the player, It's just
Mm.
it's just infuriating when you can pick up a player for what, 12 million euros, about 9.5, 10 million quid. Look how good he's been. Guy is 6'6", quick, strong, can pass a ball, can head the ball. What you want in a centre back. And what have we been lumbered with after selling off some of the old guard is just, it's
But
infuriating.
the
I
thing is,
can't.
Corey, aside from that as well, when I watch Newcastle United play, and by the way, I've made many videos about this. So if anyone can go and look at this channel or my second channel, see, I've made loads of videos about Eddie Howe. Look how well drilled Newcastle United are as a team. So,
That's what
for
you
example, when I look at that back four of Newcastle United, right? So what? Trippier, Burn, Shah, Livramento, right? Don't get me wrong. It's good. It's good. It's not world class. It's not amazing, right?
It gets the
Look how
job
well
done.
drilled it is. Look how well drilled it is. Look how well drilled that midfield three are. They all know what each other are going to be doing. Look how well drilled even the fringe player that comes in, Harvey Barnes. Look how he gets back and helps out his fullback. Look at the players that come on. Willock comes on. Emil Kraft. These are players that are not, everyone would go, I don't want them.
Yeah.
They come on, they're drilled, they know their position, they know what they're meant to be doing for the team, right? And Newcastle just look drilled. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think they should be anywhere near a title race. They haven't got the squad for it. But with what they've got, surely if we had an Eddie Howe, we could be doing those things.
Of course.
Surely.
Yeah. It comes
Of
down
course,
to
of course, right? Of course, right? I
The
mean, you've got to
argument the other day I
remember,
had.
Trips was virtually run out of the club. People were saying he's not good enough. You remember that?
Yeah,
people
Kyle
saying
Walker's
Trippier
better.
was not good enough.
Walker Peters is better than him. Blah blah blah. I
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
sorry for Trippier because he's gone off. He went off to Madrid. Sorry, Atletico. Let's get the right one. Proved himself there. Come back to the Premier League and he's proven himself in the Premier League again.
Trips
in
was run
front
out
of
of this
Tottenham
club because
fans.
people were saying he wasn't good enough. He was literally hounded out. But what people didn't realise, he was having injections in his ankle. He had a long going ankle injury. And he had an injection every game in his
Pain
ankle.
relief.
You know, so like all you need is a manager. Now, this is why Harry Redknapp would be perfect for us at the moment. Bring him in. First thing he'd do, stick his arm around everybody, and he'd set us up as a team. He'd set us up as a team. Like he did when he come in and we were rock bottom of the league. I'm sure you can remember this, Sav.
Yep.
When he come in and we had, 2 points from 8 games or so. When we were rock bottom.
He'd lost 6 and drew 2, had one day Ramos.
Yeah. And then he was up the road. And Harry come in, the first thing he done is he just got us playing as a team. He made us solid at the back, hard to beat. And we scored a few. But as long as we kept them out, we had half a chance of winning. That's the first thing he done. But with Ange, it's the complete opposite. Let's try and score 6 and not concede 7.
Yeah, which like I said the other day, it was like the difference between a manager and a coach like Pep. It's like, those kind of managers are good managers and good coaches. To succeed, you need a manager like that. You can't succeed with a guy that's come from Celtic that played in a lesser league, in my opinion, with the top team in that league winning everything because no one else in that league has the money to compete with. He's come down here trying to play the same and he's been found out. And I've said this for 18 months. Look,
I want to show this, right? I mean, first of all, I find this funny, right? And again, this is what I expect from the Ange people, right? So Reezy has said Newcastle are state-owned. Since Newcastle's owners have come in, Reezy, Spurs have spent more money than Newcastle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. And this is what makes me laugh. See, people want to say silly things, right? I'm going to show you, right? No, I'm not. That's not it. I'm going to show you, right? Have a look at this. See, guys, I'm a huge fan of if you're going to say something, yeah, know what you're saying. I'm a huge fan of that. I don't know if that should apply to all life, but know what you're talking about. Now, this, right? This is Newcastle United signings since their new owners came in, right? So if we look here, can you see the screen? Yeah.
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 So look, in the summer, Newcastle United bought in Lewis Hall from Chelsea, right? Vlachodimos from Forest, who I've never seen play. I'm sure he's played a couple of cup games. And William Asula. Right? That's what they did in the summer. Spurs spent about £160 million.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They also, in that summer, had to sell. Look at all these players they've had to sell to be in PSR. Right? The summer before that. All right. Minte, Livramento, Barnes, Tonali. Newcastle United are not buying superstars.
No.
Look before that. Other than Isak.
Dan Burn from
Right?
Brighton.
Other than Isak, who wasn't the superstar he is now, was a very good player. But other than Isak, right? Gordon, Botman, Target, Pope. If Spurs had, look at this, Chris Wood, Joe Willock, Dan Burn. If Spurs had bought these players, right? If Spurs had bought these players, our fans would have gone mad. So all of this Newcastle are state-owned. Sure, but they're not spending like a state-owned club.
Not allowed to.
They're being smart with it as well, aren't they? They're not going.
Well, they're not allowed to.
I know they're not allowed to.
They are not allowed to, because as soon as they got took over, all right, the owners are worth richest people in the world, whatever they are, billions and billions they're worth. But that's when the PSR rules come in. And so as soon as they bought them, they were, that's when they brought the PSR rules in. And so their hands were tied as soon as they come in. And you look at what we got in our income and our PSR, and that we're a much bigger club than Newcastle financially with what we can spend and that, because, all right, Newcastle's owners are darn sight richer than ours, but they're not allowed to spend it. We are, because we got the boxing, we got concerts, we got God knows what else goes on out there.
It makes you wonder when this new Man United stadium's built, how much of this income we're still going to collect,
Well, we still will, because we're in London.
Yeah, we're in London. We'll always be all right. We're in London. The worry would be if another London club did it. I say the worry. Who cares what revenue we bloody make? We don't spend it well anyway. But guys, what I'm doing with that, I'm just busting myths. I hate this. Newcastle owned. All right. But if Spurs had gone and bought Target, Dan Burn, Hall, Asula, Botman, our fans would have lost their mind. So I'm not going to hear it. And also, look at the job Eddie Howe's done with players that were already there.
Well, we were linked to Botman, though. That's the thing.
Hang on. Willock, Joe Linton, right? Look what he's done with Harvey Barnes. Look what he's done with Anthony Gordon. Look how he's developed him. Look how he's progressed Isak. Fabian Schär was awful. Fabian Schär was awful in the Premier League. Now he's just really good. And I'm busting myths because I still can't understand. I truly thought that when what we've been saying all season comes true, and it has, I truly thought some of these Ange fans would actually stop being so silly and actually say, yeah. It's like Matt, I'm going to ask you nicely. Please go to another channel. This is the worst. No offense. Mark's been a Spurs fan longer than I have. He's turning around and saying this is the worst manager he's ever seen. Right?
Yeah.
Matt, I have not seen, Matt, one answer from you as to what we should believe in. You've given excuses, injuries, fifth last year. Cool. Give me
fifth
one
last year was a disgrace.
But give me one thing you've seen, Matt, that tells us to believe. That's what I'm asking you. Is it the tactics? Is it his management? Is it the players he's... Give me something to believe in, right? Fifth last year isn't impressive.
It's a disgrace.
It's a medal that they're trying to hold on to.
We were top of the table after 10 games, miles clear of the team in fifth. So, no, Matt. Fifth, isn't impressive. Fifth, we finished fifth millions of times. Why is that impressive to you?
We finished third and second. Can I just say this, Matt? right. I just got to say to this, Matt. Right now, I saw us get relegated in 1977. I saw that. I saw us get relegated. Right now, the manager at the time was the general. Birkinshaw had just come in, but he had to pick up the mess that Terry Neal had left. Terry Neal would ruin this football club, right? And so, does that make Birkinshaw worse than Ange because we got relegated? Certainly not, because Birkinshaw brought me some of the best times I can remember being a Tottenham fan. Ange is the worst manager by a long, long, long way that I have ever seen at this football club. With the amount of money he's had,
Mark, look at this.
We have lost 30 games in that. Yeah, it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. Ange is the worst manager I have ever seen. With the money that he's had spent and the size of the club that we are allegedly now, with the shiny stadium and with the infrastructure and the revenue that we got coming in. Ange is an absolute fool, and he should have been sacked at end of last season.
I said he should have been sacked last Christmas. I think it's awful. After the 10-game bounce, right? Let's be honest. It was the greatest new manager bounce in history, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was. It was 10 games where, by the way, we didn't even play well in all those games. Like, we didn't lose. Fair play. Since that 10 games, he has been nothing short of disgusting.
And going back to that last comment about the 30 games lost in 68, that's an average of about 54.5% in these games so far. If you work it out mathematically, it's not good enough. I've seen managers sacked with a less win rate or a loss like rate. It's just baffling, isn't it?
How many games have we played this season?
In the league,
29, right? 29? Or is it 30 now?
29. And we played 38 last season, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. So that's 67. Now let's remove the first 10 games of last season. In the 57 games since he lost his first game, Tottenham have lost 27 of those 57 games.
Bloody hell.
Let that sink in, right?
Yeah.
So since November of 2023, we've played 57 league games, and this clown has managed to lose 27 of them, right? Just to put it in context, the worst number of games Pochettino lost, right, over 2 consecutive seasons. Bearing in mind, we're still in March, right? Pochettino joined in that season, didn't he? Pochettino joined in 14-15, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to work it.
Right.
It was 12 games in 2 seasons.
So the most Pochettino lost over 2 seasons was his first season, and his second season combined was 18 defeats in 76 games.
There we go.
18 in 76. This manager's lost 27 in 57. Now, Pochettino picked up an awful squad. Pochettino picked up an awful team. But you know what? He coached and he managed.
He improved.
And he built a team and a system, and he improved. In that same time frame, this manager, by the way, we're in March. We've still got 9 league games to go. We've still got 9 league games to go. No one, Corey, can give me a reason as to what he's done well. No one. I can't get an answer.
No, most of us can't. I sit here and I'm like, and when's it going to happen? When's the penny going to drop for these fans? I saw a video earlier on of them at the away fans at Fulham yesterday, and Ange losing it again and confronting fans. Don't want that from my players. I want my manager to be able to sort his shit out. We have brought in, I've been saying it for months and I'm sick of saying it. I said day one I didn't want this guy, and I've been proven right yet again. And it's just a continuance of failure, isn't it, under this guy? You can't get his tactics right. The tactics themselves, my camera's gone funny. Don't know what keeps causing this. Everything just seems to be going wrong under Ange. I mean, it's all right rocking up into the J League, rocking up into Scotland with the team that has the money and the infrastructure, and playing like this because you've got lesser, weaker teams around you. But this is the Premier League. This is rated as the top league in world football. You can't rock up with these tactics, injuring players left, right, and centre, and thinking that you can get away with it. And then his press conferences alone are disgusting. The way he talks to fans is diabolical. I'm just
It's
sat here
awful.
thinking, like, how can a manager get away with this? I've seen managers fined by FA and FIFA for speaking out like this. Why hasn't this clown not got it yet? Oh man, I saw that video earlier on. I said in the chat, can anyone edit this to make him look like they're wearing clown makeup? Because this is what it feels like. He's the ringmaster and he's got his flock of clowns behind him getting out the car.
Well, mate, so just so everyone knows, right? So yeah, so in this season in the Premier League, the loss rate is 52%, right? His loss rate since his first ever defeat, which is 18 months ago, is 48% loss rate of Premier League matches. That is absolutely disgusting.
You're looking at
Disgusting.
back to back, isn't it?
48%.
Back
We've
to back,
more
two
games
seasons.
this season than Arsenal have in their last 3. Just it's madness. It's utter madness. Let me get some super chats. Big up to Vinny, who has said all the players are regressing. Yep. Good coaches improve players, as Poch did with Palmer, Gusto, and see them now with Maresca. Same with Eddie Howe and Iriola. Ange is only good at picking a fight with fans. Vinny, absolutely bang on. Good coaches improve players. And look at Poch. Look what Poch did with Walker, Rose, Eriksson, Dembele. Dembele, before Poch got it, was a good player that was from Fulham and a bit hit and miss. Poch had him as one of the best midfielders in Europe, right? You know, you've got to be able to coach players better. Vinny, you're bang on. You look at Eddie Howe does it. Thomas Frank does it. Look at Thomas. Look how well. I hear from Spurs fans all the time, Vinny. I wouldn't want Thomas Frank, as Thomas Frank is 7 points clear of Tottenham Hotspur with a tiny squad and a tiny budget at Brentford, who lose their best players every season. It's beggars belief. And Aussie Ange hater, big up to you, has said Ange was told years ago by former Aussie Premier League players his tactics won't work in England. Ange argued with them. He said, I'll never change these tactics. They work anywhere. There's the proof, Ange fans. Look, Aussie Ange hater, I've seen the arguments you're talking about. The man is very arrogant. I'm going to show you some things to show you how arrogant he is in a minute. I've got lots of things to bring up onto the screen. Thank you so much for that, Aussie Ange hater. And Vinit's come back in again and said, leave aside the tactical side. Anyone with eyes can see that Ange is a narcissist. The way he treated some players like Gio and Spence was shameful. Vinit, the evidence is there with numbers, with stats, with data. The evidence is there with the eyes. The evidence is there with the results. The evidence is there with the way he's treated players, the way he treats fans, the way he treats reporters, interviewers. But these Ange fans, the problem is you've got people like Reezy and Matt. What they can't do is just hold your hand up and say, as a man, I was wrong. And you know what? No one in the chat says anything. Let's be brutally honest. Agree with me in the chat. If Matt turned around, for example, people in the chat and went, you know what? I'm at a breaking point. I've reached my limit. Yeah, Ange's shit. It's been terrible. I think everyone would turn around and go, yeah, fair. Right?
Well,
as human beings, fair enough. I got it wrong. There's nothing wrong in life with being wrong. If Spurs win the Europa League, I will have to turn around on this screen and go, I'm wrong. We won the Europa League. I still think he's a shit manager, but I was wrong that we wouldn't win the Europa League. That's called being a human being. Corey's been wrong in his life. Mark's been wrong in his life. I've been wrong in my life. You stand up and you say, I got it wrong. But what we've got is a whole fan base now, 50% of the fan base, doubling down, right? Because those Ange fans never said 15th at the beginning of the season, 14th at the beginning of the season.
No.
Those Ange fans never said, oh, we lose half our Premier League games.
Third, right? I heard some people say.
Well, mate, those Ange fans, right? Those Ange fans have been the same ones that for about 10 games said, oh, injuries.
Yeah.
The players are back. The players are back and we're still not winning games of football.
Yeah.
Why?
Just go back to 2 weeks ago when Madders was sitting on the bench with Sonny going, this isn't working. This is... Come on. A player like Maddison, a professional, is saying this shit about a manager. Eric Dyer was sent off to Bayern Munich and said what this manager was about with coaching and understanding tactics. How many more of these players and former players of us have to come out and say this manager is not fit for purpose?
That's it. That's it. But the thing is, have you noticed whenever you debate an Ange fan, they don't have anything in their locker.
No.
They have nothing.
No.
What they do is they go, "You're impatient." No, that's fine. I'm
Yeah.
impatient, sure. But now give me a debate. Yeah, but 5th last year. Well, okay, what does that mean? Right? Yeah, but we're in the Europa League. Well, yeah, we should be. We haven't played anybody of note. We should be in the Europa League. They've got nothing. They've got absolutely no comeback at all to any of the debates. Glenn Hoddle is now openly coming out and saying how tactically shambolic we are. Harry Redknapp's been saying it all season. Ian Wright, Gary Neville, Jamie Carragher, Jamie Redknapp, Roy Keane. Match of the day last night. Match of the day. Absolutely.
I didn't watch it.
They pulled our tactics apart. Why can all of these ex-pros and pundits and managers see it? Why are all these managers getting the better of Ange? Why are the only people that can't see it are these Ange fans? Why can they not see it?
And can I just say, Glenn Hoddle was the greatest. Glenn Hoddle was the greatest player I ever saw play for us, that I witnessed with my own eyes playing for us. Fantastic.
Class. Look, I want to show you a few things. First and foremost, there's nearly 500 of you in here and 133 likes. I'm not having that. That's absolutely disgusting, people. We should be well over 250 likes by now. So please,
I didn't do it. I just did it on my phone.
Big up to you. So please smash that button. And we are 130 subscribers away from 17,000.
We only got 307.
Matt, if you want to know why people think you're a troll, right? You can't answer any questions. Mate, you're now trolling, Matt. Managers get 3 to 5 years if they show they're going in the right direction. It is not difficult, right? Matt, this is where I'm going to say it. You're dumb at this point. This is sounding dumb.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, the 3 managers you're talking about, right? The 3 managers you're
talking about Poch.
Poch, Harry Redknapp, and I'm guessing you're talking about Martin Jol, right? If they're the 3 you're talking about, let's have a little walk down memory lane because clearly you don't remember too well. Harry Redknapp came in and we went,
right?
And carried
on. Year one, immediately, Harry Redknapp came in and we went, Year 2, right? He took us from bottom to 8th in year 1. And in year 2, took us from 8th to our first ever Champions League finish, right? The next year, he finished 5th. And the year after that, he finished 4th. And unfortunately, Chelsea won the Champions League, which knocked us out of the Champions League. That was the rule at the time.
It was that year, was it? Because Tottenham got compensated from that and they changed the rules immediately.
Yeah, right. So he got 2 Champions League finishes, right? Took us from bottom, right? Look at how he improved Bale, Modric. Look how he improved players like Tommy Huddleston. Look how he improved Wilson Palacios, Crancher, Defoe, Crouch. You've got no leg to stand on. Now let's look at Mark's hero. Pochettino. Pochettino came in, and in year 1, it wasn't all fun. It wasn't all brilliant, right? But you know what? As year 1 went a bit deeper and a bit deeper, everyone started to go, oh, hang on. I see what he's doing with a team here. Yeah, he's building something. Then in year 2, then in year 3, then in year 4. Matt, these managers all showed signs of progression, right? This is what infuriates me. Matt, they weren't shit for year 1 to 3, and then suddenly in year 3 went, ta-da!
Yeah.
Over here!
Better. Guys, am I lying? Corey,
no,
am I lying?
No, definitely not.
But you got to look at Harry as well. He took players like Bale that were at left back and put him in left wing or left midfield.
I believe that was Harry Redknapp.
It was Harry Redknapp.
That was Harry Redknapp.
Also took Modric, who was playing in Bale's position at left wing, and put him in centre midfield. Yeah. And that was against Chelsea and Man United. Those first 2 weeks where Harry went, I'm putting Modric in the middle here. And I can't remember who the assistant manager was back then. It completely slipped my mind. And he turned to Harry and went, you sure? And he's like, yeah, let's do it. And
I'll
then
tell you a
from
story
that,
about Harry Redknapp.
Modric
Right, Harry
carried on
Redknapp.
playing Modric there.
Harry Redknapp, when we bought Gareth Bell from Southampton, right, as a youngster, he was known as a bit of a jinx. We played like 40 odd games and we didn't win one with him at left back. Harry said, right, let's stick you left midfield. The rest is history.
Yeah.
The rest is history. Harry Redknapp made Gareth Bell into the player that he went on, that he became for us, and he certainly got better and better and better when he went to Real Madrid. He was the world record transfer when we sold him.
Yep.
Yeah,
And look what we did with that money. And look what we did with that money. The famous seven, wasn't it? And only Ericsson was any good.
Name one player that has improved.
None.
Name one player, sorry, what?
Name one player that Ange has improved that's consistently good week in, week out.
I can't.
Well, none of them. None of them. You could say now, but I'm gonna have an answer for this as well. You could say the youngsters, but then again, they're maturing, so they're gonna get better.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's the only answer that you can give, the youngsters, but they're maturing anyway. You know, I mean, Harry took Gareth Bell and made him into a world star, for goodness sakes.
It took Modric as well, made him into a world star. Two players from our team that went to Madrid and went on to success. One's a Ballon d'Or winner. So
and like Pochettino, he took what was an average team and made us bloody challenge for the league that I never thought I'd ever see do. All right, we'd won a lot. We'd won a few cups when I was a kid, but never challenging for the league. You know, this is why I got such an infatuation with Pochettino. Certainly for years and years and years, he made me proud to be a Tottenham fan. He made me proud to go in the pub with my Spurs shirt on. You know, without getting the piss took out of me.
How much, when Poch's time came to an end, it came to an end. But during his peak, after that first season, so for those 3 or 4 seasons, how much did you guys look forward to a Tottenham game?
Every weekend.
I would not miss a game. So, I would change my plans. I would put things off.
I would have days off sick from work. I would take a day off from work to go watch Tottenham.
You know,
That's how bad it was for me back then.
The Champions League semi-final, right? I was a cabbie. And I took the evening off. I was meant to be working nights. And I said, look, I took the day off just to go and watch it. I used to take holiday. So I could watch a Tottenham game. Now, I'm not bothered if I watch it at all.
Same. Do you know the one that got me a few years ago? The one where we beat Real Madrid. And I'm on the bus celebrating my arse off like a complete loon because I just finished work, missing the game, but watching it on my phone. And I'm getting people on the bus telling me to shut up. Shut up. I went, well, I'm proud to be a Spurs fan. Why should I shut up? It's just, those are the days I used to be happy to watch our team play. Now I'm like, I'm saying, like the other day, I gave us a 2-1 loss and gave us too much credit to be able to score a goal from open play. Delusion.
It's just, look, welcome, Ben. Welcome to the show. Look, I want to show everyone a few things as well. I've just never known. I truly believe that when we got to this stage, Ben, I truly believe that we would unite as a fan base and actually go, this experiment has failed. You know, this vanity project has failed. Ben, these people are digging their heels in. Like this feels like when I have one of them rows with my wife, right?
Yeah.
You know, like for anyone who's married will know this. When you have a row with your wife, right? There are rows where you go, I'm gonna let her have this because there's bigger battles to fight down the road, right? Right? Like, where do you want to go for dinner? Oh, I don't want to go there again. But you know what? It's a small thing. Yeah, cool. We'll go where you want to go. The bigger battle is where am I going on my holiday? Now I'm fighting for that, right? So just using that as an example. These guys, Ben, these guys are like my wife digging her heels in to anything. It's literally like I could go, look, I'm just making this up. We've got £1,000 left in our joint account. She'll go, no, there's 2. And I'll go, no, there's 1. You can see it. 1,000. No, there's 2. No, it says 1. The evidence. They don't want the evidence. That's what these fans are like. They will not believe, Ben.
If you say it's Monday, no, they'll say no, it's Tuesday.
Exactly.
The question I'm going to ask to the entire chat is, what did you guys expect? I knew we'd lose yesterday. I knew we'd lose. I had a great day. I went to TK Maxx and got some bed sheets for the girlfriend because she needed some new bed sheets. I went to McDonald's. I got some Tim Tams for my Australian friends. I got some Tim Tams. Big up Australia. I had a great day. I'm not going to let Tottenham make me miserable anymore. I'm not gonna let this cult leader govern what I think about football, because that's what this manager is. He is a cult leader. He doesn't like being questioned. He doesn't like being questioned. He's got his little minions round him.
Can I just show you something?
Look at that. Yeah, show it.
Can I show you something? So it's really quickly. This has just popped up on my TikTok feed, right? I'm going to show you now. It'll go pretty quickly, but you can see here, right? Look what he's saying. 15 defeats is nowhere near good enough. Nowhere near the level we need to be. And I understand the supporters' frustrations with that. As I said, today wasn't about as much about performance. It's just like I said, another day where we let a game get away for us that we shouldn't. It's not like we've been blown off the park. Like I said, up until the point they scored, I thought we were the team that's sort of getting on top. Like, how many weeks in a row, Ben, do we need to hear this man talk about only losing by 1 or 2 goals as some sort of medal of honor? And I'll show you what I mean, Ben. Yeah? It's the lost by 1 goal trophy.
Hey, we won! We won the league. We lost by 1 goal.
We should have you know the Bayern Munich goal music they play when they score goals. What is it?
Yeah.
We should have that. That's the worst.
The players should go
if you're getting pummeled by Bayern Munich and every time they score, it's yabba dabba doo.
How bad is it, right?
Have a look at this.
We're getting things like this made about us, right? Like, have a look at the state of this. Like, we're getting things like this made about us. The wheel of excuses, right? Look, even injuries,
global warming,
the fans, 3 of my favourites: Brexit, the pitch, the media, and then my ultimate favourite, global warming, is the wheel of excuse for Ange today, right?
Shouldn't that be how long the grass is?
But can we talk about this? I showed everyone at the beginning of the stream. If you didn't see, this is what Perchie wanted me to show the group today.
Yeah.
He said he's done with the excuses and that fans have literally done a 180 on their excuses now. We've gone a 360. We've gone all the way around back to the beginning. And basically saying that this manager is in a job because he's beaten Karabag, Ferencvaros, Hoffenheim, Elfsborg and Alkmaar. Right? I want to talk about this, guys. I want to talk about this. This isn't the first time this is happening, right? This guy, anybody who says anything to him, right? He is now going at them. And all the person said was, what was that? And he stopped, came back, show some respect. You're a young man, show manners. Guys, he did this at Bournemouth. He did this walking down the tunnel of another game. I can't remember which one at White Hart Lane.
5 times this season so far that I can count.
This is a man that is a man that is lost. This is a man that has completely lost all direction. For his own good, he needs to be sacked. But Ben, Corey, is there any coming back when you start having a pop at this fan, that fan, this reporter? Is there any?
There's no coming back. There isn't. He's supposed to be the face of the team. You can't be the face of the team and the badge and act like that towards fans who pay good money to go watch this crap. I mean, I've seen managers sacked for less. I've even seen managers where I've used to work before, like Poundland and stuff like that, sacked for lesser things, like mistreating staff, talking to customers the way they've done and stuff like that. At the end of the day, we're seen as customers and he's a ringleader. The guy is the circus. It's a circus right now. He's the ringleader and we've got a bunch of clowns, like I said earlier, I'm jumping out the clown car. How many young kids can you stuff into that little clown car for him to jump out to fight Ange's bloody corner? I mean, can you imagine if we still had players like Eric Dyer and Gio here, how much shit they'd be kicking up about this manager?
It's one of those things. One of the things that the Ange boys and the Ange fans always like to say is, imagine what it would be if we had Harry Kane. I'll tell you what it would be if we had Harry Kane. If we were playing like that yesterday, or against Alkmaar, or against all the performances we've put stinkers in, what you would get is, Mr. Levy, can I ever speak to you, please? That is exactly what would happen. He would be knocking on his door.
Hi, Daniel.
Saying, hello, Mr. Daniel. Hello, Daniel. Get this clown out. He's lucky. It's the McGregor thing. It's the McGregor thing. He had a falling out with McGregor at Celtic. First thing that happened, chucked to the bench. He doesn't like players with egos. He deliberately gets rid of them because he doesn't.
He wants
like
to be the biggest ego in the room, Ben. That's why.
He doesn't like being challenged. This is all these young players. Yes, we can say, yes, this is a Levy problem. This is the macro issue. I believe that Ange wants these young players because they won't question him.
They don't question him.
Young players are so grateful to get an opportunity that they will work their asses off, even if it's going badly. Senior players that know, I'm James Maddison. I'm 26 years old. I'm 26, 27 years old. I haven't got much longer left at the top level of football. I've got 5-6 years max. I've got probably one more big move left in me. And then that's it. Whereas young players, all right, I'll try and learn. I'll see how it is. I'll work my ass off. I believe he wants these young players because they won't question his tactics. They won't do what senior players do and think, you know what, boss? I don't think this is right. I think we should do this. It's a cult. He's created a cult within the changing room.
But then these young players haven't got exactly the greatest left of senior players, have they? Kane's gone.
Well, that's what you do, Corey, isn't it? With young players, with Archie Gray, for example, and I'm a big fan of Archie. I'm a fan of Archie Gray, and I'm not. It's not a hill to die on. I think he's a good footballer. I've seen that he's a good footballer, but he's 19 years old. What you do in the old days, Savva, you've known this for coaching. You get your young player that you think is going to be a star, and you get in with your most senior player in the dressing room, and you say, put your arm round him, show him the ropes, show him what you eat, show him what happens. You put him in a car together, and then that's what you do. You get the most senior player to bring your young players through, and then everyone else sort of not works it out, but you've got your buddies in a dressing room. A player like Archie Gray that we see is going to be a star, and I think he's going to be a star. Probably not at Tottenham because he's not getting coached properly, and you can see that he's not getting coached properly because 1 week is at centre midfield, 1 week is at right back, 1 week is at left back, 1 week is at right centre back. It's never in the same position. One thing you want the young people to learn a craft is it's your favourite word, Savva. Consistency. You're learning a trade. For these 2 months, you're on a building site. You're going to be learning how to use the cement. You're going to be learning how to do bricks. Then you're going to be learning how to do this. You don't say 1 week you're on bricks, 1 week you're doing this. No, you get them to learn a trade. We're not allowing our young players to bloom. We are,
but he probably won't want that. Like Ben. Sorry, I've got your name there. How bad is that? Sorry, Ben. I was like,
dare you?
Like when we look at this, I reckon somebody like a James Maddison, if you actually watch James Maddison being interviewed, right? James Maddison, more often than not, talks about protecting the younger players.
Yeah.
James Maddison talks about taking the heat off the younger players. You watch, even in his silly TikTok videos and that, Maddison's with the kids. Maddison, you can see, is around them and nurturing them. I don't think this manager likes that, because if you look at it, if you look at what is happening with this manager,
morning,
Lubo, morning, and just Lubo, while we got 530 people here, just say I am very sorry for my behaviour the other week. I wanted to apologise live, so that
that's okay.
Okay,
apology accepted.
We'll move on. We'll move on, but
We'll move on.
just so people know it's okay if you're wrong about Ange. Just say it. Just say you're wrong. Ben, when we look at the Maddison situation, it's strange because he's given Maddison one of the armbands, so to speak. He's given him the vice captaincy.
Yeah.
Lots of reports are that he has challenged Ange. You know, that he has said to him that, hang on, I don't like this, or I want to challenge this, or we should do this, whatever it may be. And you can see that James Maddison is the one out of all the leaders that is constantly not playing, constantly subbed off first. For me, I think that tells you more about the manager than anything else. I think that situation between Madders, who I think, in my opinion, who I think is our best footballer.
I think he is as well.
Who I think should be on the pitch come rain or shine. That situation between those two, I think, tells you everything you need to know about why this guy does not want senior pros, why he wants the youth. That's only my opinion.
Yeah, it's like going back to what Ben said about getting a young player with the young player with the talent, with the player that's in the first team, learning from them. A lot of good youth players learn from the senior players. They want to learn because some of these senior players are on their way out and they need to be the next level of what the next bunch coming up behind them are. You know, it's a knock-on thing. Like, this senior player is on his last legs. He's going to teach how to be a captain or how to get himself around the club and around professional football. Some of these young guys need a player like that, like an Eric Dyer. Dyer wasn't the greatest on the pitch, but boy, was he a leader. You got Harry Kane. We sell him off all because he had a voice. So many players sold off because they had a voice because Daniel didn't want to knock at the door. That's what it is.
So just quickly, sorry, Lubo, I didn't see it last night. I'm hearing that you were epic. I keep hearing a lot of people saying this word. Which Paul did you put in his place? Was it O'Keefe?
No. Cool. What was his surname? Can't think. He's a cricket correspondent.
Okay.
Says it all.
Okay.
And he was very Ange in, and it made for a good show because you got two different opinions. TJ Rimini sat on the fence, and Ricky kept it flowing. You know, it was Ricky's leaving out Ange out, and I suppose he just let me get on with it.
Nice.
Sometimes you need a Lubo to do a Lubo things. I do want to say, though, these Tim Tams, they are bloody tasty. But why don't they just call them penguins? Because they are penguin bars.
Penguin with a new
I've never
name.
seen a Tim Tam in my life.
You
Just
can
quickly,
get them in Morrison's. Support Australian business. Support Australian business, not Australian football managers at Tottenham Hotspur.
Lubo,
Support
at least
Tim
yours has the right date on it.
Yes.
The right date on it.
No, I must say this. There was a guy in the
before
fan zone. Go on. There was a guy in the fan zone in Holland telling them.
I really want one of those scarves, Lubo. You got to get me one next time you see it. I'll pin you the money.
Okay.
I need
Harry,
one of those.
When you are saying, Savva, I wonder if you guys will admit you're wrong. Do you know what? If this manager wins the Europa League, what am I wrong about? He's been absolutely dreadful in the league for 2 years. What is it that you think I'm wrong about? What I'll be wrong about, I'll tell you, is me saying we won't win the Europa League. I won't be wrong about the league. Yeah. I won't be wrong about everyday business about Ange Postecoglou.
I'm going to disagree with you there, Savva. You were wrong because you said we'd finish 7th and we're 14th. We're 14th.
We're in the bottom 6, lads.
How dare you, Savva, you happy clapper. Stop being a happy clapper, Savva.
Do you know how much shit I took for that in the summer, Ben? For saying 7th. I took so much shit. 7th. You think we're going to drop 2 places? I should have gone 15th and say we're dropped 10. Lubo, I didn't see last one of Spurs. Apologise, but yesterday, in isolation, I want to look at yesterday's performance. I don't know your opinion on any of this. The team he put out, I'm going to show everyone. This is the team that we started with. Everyone knows, but I'm going to put it out there anyway. So there we go. So this was the 11 that he went with: Vicario, Spence, Romero, Davis, Udogie, Benson, Corbusuma, Gray, Johnson, Solanke, Tell. 7 changes from midweek, Lubo, from a team that finally won a game, Looked like the second half we actually played some decent stuff. Looked like we were getting confidence into Odegaard, into Maddison, into Son. He makes 7 changes when we're not playing for 19 days, Lubo, and the Europa League isn't for 25 days. What was your thought when you saw the team?
Well, I must tell you, I wasn't too fussed. The only thing that I found strange, I mean, Vicario tick, Spence at right back tick, Romero tick, and I thought he had a good game, and you could see how it all went to pot when he went off. Davis, yes, agree with that. Mickey had played a couple of games. He's just coming back. We know he's got a hamstring issue. Let's wrap him up in cotton wool. It's not important for him to play in a league game, to be fair. We just want him fit. We just want him fit for the important games in the Europa, whether it's 2, 4 or 5. So for me, that didn't bother me. Udogie, I suppose he's going to play him left side because you wouldn't play Porro there, and he's got no interest in Reguilon. Midfield, hallelujah. He played great at number 6, and not only did he play him at 6, but he played him just in front of Romero and Davis, so he didn't go wandering, which is the first time I've seen that under this manager in nearly 2 years. And he was okay, did nothing great, won a couple of balls, lost a couple of balls, got the ball, he made himself available, which was good to see. You know, he knows that position, and he just passed it around and played it very safe. The rest of the midfield was, I thought, strange. Bassoum and Bentancur are way off form. Bergvall, Maddison, I thought played well Thursday night. No idea why he dropped both of those. They were the two. And up front, Solanke is going to be a centre forward. Sonny needs a rest. He played Johnson. I mean, we might as well play with 10 men, to be fair. And Tell showed 1 or 2 flashes. There was one really nice turn on the touchline where he skinned the guy and put a couple of nice balls in. But he's not, as I've said before, he's not what we needed in January. We needed someone to come in who could score 10, 12 goals between, the end of Jan and middle of May. So was I overly fussed? I didn't expect to win. I thought we'd lose 3-1. So I wasn't surprised we got beaten. It doesn't. From a confidence point of view, maybe it's important to try and win these games, obviously, but 3 points, 1 point, or 0, it doesn't make too much difference. The league's done. We're going to finish between 13th and 16th, pretty much.
Doesn't it make a difference from a financial point of view, though? Like, I'm not. We're not accountants, but it's £3 million for every league position. Surely if we finish 15th compared to 10th, for example, we're losing out on 15 to 18 million pounds, depending on where we finish.
The chairman obviously isn't bothered. Otherwise, he'd have got rid of this clown weeks ago.
Do you think he thinks he can win the Europa? That's why he's doing it. Well,
if you see the way we played, and this has continued from November of 23, I don't know how he's watching it and he's sitting there and he's doing nothing. It's as though, we look at Ange, he's got his hands in his pockets on the touchline, doing nothing. And you've got the guy in the boardroom with his hands in his pockets, doing nothing. So, they don't even care in our club. That's where we're at. And you look at Newcastle, who have got owners that came in, made sure that they had some involvement, but weren't all over it. Let Dan Ashworth get on with it. They spent 220 million in the first year they were in, and they added to the players that Eddie Howard bought the year before, and he's had 2 League Cup finals, a European Champions League, and he's got a trophy. He's got the monkey off the back, first domestic trophy in 70 years. I mean, my wife's happy. She's a Geordie. We've got close friends I was in touch with during the game and after the game yesterday, absolutely over the moon. And that shows you what happens when owners sell and new owners come in, and it's not be careful what you wish for, because the Geordies didn't think like that. They just wanted him out.
Mm-hmm.
And the Saudis came in, spent the money, bought the club. I know it was 330 million they paid. It's not 10 times that Levy probably wants. But look at that. Look at them. They are absolutely buzzing. And the recruitment there at Newcastle, you look at that midfield of Joe Linton, Tonali and Guimaraes. Longstaff can't even get in. Gordon was missing. Botman was missing. They didn't have a full-strength team out there. And they were playing Liverpool. And they made mincemeat of Liverpool yesterday.
Yeah.
They absolutely killed them from the start to the 92nd minute. And Liverpool had a few minutes after Chiesa scored. And even then, Newcastle kept the ball by the corner flag for most of that time. Absolutely fantastic. I was so happy they won.
Yesterday it was a victory for English football, wasn't it, Lubo?
It was a great day for English football. It was brilliant.
English manager, loads of English players.
How well drilled are they, Ben? Ben, they're so well drilled. Like, listen, first and foremost, you could see yesterday, just going over a bit of a tangent, you could see yesterday the Newcastle players wanted it. I would say that bit more than Liverpool. I would say they wanted it a hell of a lot more. Every header, every tackle, everything they did was brilliant. But what I loved about it, I've said this before about how it's so organised. It's so organised. It's not going to win every week. They've not got the best 11 in the world. But what he has done, he's got a functioning football team where everyone knows their job. Right? We've spent more money than them. We did this earlier, Lubo, by the way, on the show. We've spent more money than them since their owners came in. That's mad. We spent more money than them. And any player they've bought, we said this earlier, if Spurs had gone for Livramento, I remember our fans going, nah, he's crap, wouldn't want him. I remember me and Sean Butler had a debate about it. I said, I'll take Livramento all day long. Dan Burn, our fans would have lost their mind. If we had bought Harvey Barnes, our fans would have lost their mind, right? If we had bought a player like Joe Linton, who Eddie Howe's worked absolute miracles with, we would have lost our mind. But he's coached, and that's why when people tell me this is a crap squad at Spurs, I don't believe it. What would he do with our players if he's done that with Joe Linton? Look what he's done with Fabian Schär, right? Look what he's done with Lewis Hall, who for me is one of the best left backs in the country. This guy coaches and he manages and he's got a system that he's implemented. Yes, Enoch and Levy have got to go. But for me, I just think we can make baby steps by getting a proper football coach. Right, I want to show you something. I want to show you all something. By the way, please do keep liking. Please keep subscribing as well. We're that close to 17K and I just can't. I'm like Spurs. I just can't quite get to that marker. This is the funniest tweet I've seen sent to me in a long time. It says, Ange FC. He has the arrogance of Pep, the managerial ability of Gary Neville, the tactical ability of Phil Brown, the in-game management of Steve Keane, the managerial flair of Ian Dowie, the managerial charisma of Tony Adams. Yep, he's the worst of the worst, but some fans love him. Hashtag Ange out. I just thought that was absolutely brilliant. Guys, we looked at Ange trying to fight everyone. Where is it? We looked at Ange trying to fight everyone as normal. I want to see this, right? And someone put this up, and I'll tell you what, this actually frustrated me because there was no context around this picture. And this is the last time we lost 15 games in a season, right? Which was the 08-09. And I hate that there's no context around this from the point of view that when Redknapp didn't lose 15 games, right? I just want to put that out there. Redknapp did not lose all 15 of these games. But guys, the worrying thing is,
isn't it, Savva? This is propaganda. This is not facts. This is propaganda.
Well, yeah, because
Ben, there's a couple of things to take from this. Firstly, the first thing that flashes out for me, Redknapp lost 9, not 15. That's because he came in. He came in. I think we beat Bolton 2-0, and then went to Arsenal and drew 4-4, didn't we?
That's right.
What I see here is that we have lost exactly the same amount of games and we've still got 9 to go. That's what I see. That's what I see there, and that's what that is meant to say. That is an Ange out set of stats, and it's like, well, hang on, we've still got 9 to go. How, for me, we're going to lose at Liverpool, Villa, possibly Wolves, possibly West Ham. We're going to lose at Chelsea. We've got Forest at home. We've got Brighton at home. We could lose 6 or 7 out of the last 9.
Lubo, you'll know this. Lubo, when was the last time we lost more than 15 league games in a season?
Probably, it was either 2004.
Correct. 03-04. Yeah, Lubo's on it. 19 defeats, which we could get. By the way, this is mad. Somebody's put a really good post in here, right? I think it was Terry O'Shea. Terry O'Shea said, Savva, question. Since the introduction of the 3 points per win system in 1981, Tottenham Hotspur's lowest points finish has been 44. Do you think this season could result in an even lower total?
Yes.
Guys, the fact we are asking that question tells you everything you need to know. Now, I've got it up on screen, right? I'm going to show you all because you know me. I like some visual evidence. This is a list of all of Tottenham Hotspur's seasons, right? If we're going down, so you can see there. If I highlight here, can you see my cursor?
Yeah.
Can you all see that? My cursor? Yeah. So if you highlight here, you can see this season is the season where we lost 19 games. That's this column here. We lost 19, just where I'm highlighting there. Right. Now, if we go up, we'll actually have a look. This column here is the points. This column here is the points total, right? So you can see here, this is the season we're talking about, right? This was in 97-98. We finished 14th on 44 points, right? That's what we're talking about. So that was our worst number of points for the last time we won less points than that. Well, you have to go into this era here. You'd have to go into this era here, 78-81, and that was a 42-game season. Guys, are we going to get less than 44 points? That would be our worst points total ever in a Premier League season.
Probably.
Yes.
We're going to be there or thereabouts, aren't we? Morning, Stel.
Morning, Stel.
Morning, everyone. Hello.
Morning.
Guten Tag.
Happy Paddy's Day to everyone, by the way. Happy Paddy's Day.
Happy Paddy's Day.
Just saying.
Should have taped
guys, honestly, 44 is our lowest ever Premier League points total. We are 10 away from that with 9 games to go, which means we must not lose, which means we at least need to win 3 and get a draw to match it, right? Are we getting it?
Nope.
No. What have we got? Chelsea. We've got Chelsea away. Forget that.
Liverpool away.
So then we've got Southampton at home, so we should get 3 there.
Come on, Southampton.
Wolves away, may well get a draw.
Who knows?
Having said that, that's in between the 2 Frankfurt games. So
yeah.
So it's going to change the team.
Lubo, they're doing that. Vitor Pereira's got them 9 points above the relegation zone, and they were bottom 3 when he joined.
So say at best a point is 4. Forest away, nope. Liverpool away, nope. West Ham away, nope. Palace at home could beat them.
Dog and Duck FC, no. Stevenage, no.
No, so you
Wrexham.
could have 2 wins. You could have 2 wins with Southampton and Palace. We won't get anything against Villa. Brighton at home last 8, maybe a draw. So no, I don't see us matching 44 points. We're on 34 now, aren't we? So 2 wins, 2 draws, 5 defeats, which will give us 20 defeats. Was it 20 defeats then? No, what am I talking about? How many?
We've got 15 defeats.
We've lost 15 so far, haven't we? So that would be about
20. Chelsea, Villa, and Liverpool away. Sorry, I'm just putting that straight out there.
Yeah.
That'll take us to 18. And then
Forest at home.
Won't be easy.
No,
they're
Brighton,
fighting top
Brighton
4.
won't be.
Brighton won't be easy. West Ham won't. Don't forget, a lot of these teams as well, when we get to the last 4 or 5 games, they're all going to be fighting for Europa and Conference as well.
And plus, it's West Ham's cup final, isn't it?
Of course it is.
Every game we play them is a cup final.
Stel, Looking like it could be our worst points total since 19. So what was that? That 97, 98 was when we actually had to go and get Klinsmann back. Remember it? We had to go and get Klinsmann back on loan, and I think he got 4 at Wimbledon.
Against Wimbledon at Sellers Park.
He saved us. He saved us.
Yeah. Still, I mean, he's still here, and we're talking about can we match our worst ever Premier League points total?
Yeah, okay. We're desperate to talk about something. We've run out of things to talk about this season. it's in the mud. Do you know?
Someone put it in the chat. Someone put it in the chat.
Yeah. No, I'm just joking around. Do you know? I was on. Oh, by the way, big up Corey, Ben, Ian, Mark, Savva, everyone in the chat.
Big up, stuff.
Morning.
I was on after the game yesterday. I went on We Are Tottenham TV. I was hoping Sim was there because I had some questions and I needed some answers from Sim, but he wasn't there. So I ended up speaking to Marlon and Ben for about half an hour. And do you know what? I actually laughed the whole time during the show because I am so beyond caring. I know where this is all heading. And after the show, I went, obviously did my show, watched a bit of yours, watched a bit of Lubo, dropping some facts on last one of the Spurs, which was fantastic to watch. And last night, before I went to bed, I went back and watched a video 10 months ago when I went on We Are Tottenham TV and told them signing Werner is going to be the catalyst of the disaster that's going to unravel. And I wanted to actually listen word for word exactly what I said. And you know what's funny? I literally said it. Word for word. The summer window we're about to have is going to be so bad that when we do get some injuries, when we do have to rotate players because we're in 4 competitions, when we do have some suspensions, at some point, whether it's early on, mid-season or late on, the wheels are going to come flying off.
Yeah, I remember you saying it.
Because Ange proved in the last 15 games of last season, when he has to rotate and make changes, he can't do it. That's how we lost top 4. Playing Skip at left back when we said, well, Mohamed Salah's going to absolutely roast him. His formation away at Chelsea, we said, we questioned that. And I said, if he's going to go and do that again with the players that we failed to sign, it's going to be worse because we're in more competitions. And literally,
what a great defensive line! What a great defensive line that is. Look at them all.
And literally, it's played out exactly as I said it. I never thought it would be this bad, but it's played out exactly as I explained it. And I just gave myself a pat on the back. I was like, bloody hell, still. Called that one spot on.
That's a t-shirt idea. Right, bloody hell, Stel. That's
bloody hell, Stel.
Yeah. What about a t-shirt? I never thought it would be this bad with a picture of Ange doing that.
I'd buy it. I would buy it.
Still, you're bang on. When I was telling everybody and anybody how crap this manager was, I said 7th. I thought we'd be 7th.
Yeah,
I didn't think I'd be battling people.
So positive. So positive, Savva. So positive.
Savva, can I?
18 months ago.
I want to finish off what I was going to say, but go on.
Yeah, go on.
Well, what I was going to say is, and then the bit that got me was in that video I said, and what we're going to do as a fan base is we're going to find every excuse possible to justify it, all because we don't want to admit that some of us 10 months ago called it right. And I even said what the reaction from the fan base would be. I thought, bloody hell, do I understand my football club this well? Do I understand my fan base this well? And literally, look at the excuses you hear. Injuries, he needs time, but he's trying to bring in the youth, and Ange is blaming the pitch, he's blaming the fans, and it's literally excuse after excuse after excuse. And I even predicted we'd make excuses. I didn't predict what excuses because I had no idea. Yeah, we'll have excuses. But you know what, guys? Do you know what? And I'll stop saying what I wanted to say. But do you know what? Forget me predicting it and forget me saying this was going to happen. it's a tragedy, right? It's a tragedy that we've got an ownership that hires people that aren't fit for the job. Land should not be here. Ange should not be here. Scott Munn has got no right being at Spurs. What's he doing? These people shouldn't be working at Spurs. You know, they're given a job by somebody, and that somebody is the bigger problem. But unfortunately, on this occasion, our fans got behind these people, the Langes, the Munns, and the Anges. A lot of our fan base got behind it. So if you're going to get behind it, you know, either you admit it was wrong, or you got to back it to the end. And I think a lot of them are backing it to the end. But when is the end? Is it next week? Is it Frankfurt? Is it if we get to the semis? I don't know when the end is. I thought the end was going to be in December. Then I thought it was going to be in January, but he's still here, like you said. So I don't know. Savva, if he's here next year, I won't be surprised. I really won't be surprised if he's here next year.
But I mean, look at this, right? This is what I was going to show you, right? Do you know what? Forget how bad 14th in the table stands. There are only 4 Premier League football teams with less points than us. If you actually look at that, only the bottom 3 of Wolves have less points than Spurs. Now, I'm going to back on from how bad this is, guys, right? So, by the way, Wolves are only 8 points behind us. Wolves are only 8 points behind us, right? I'm going to back on from this. Let's have a look at some other bits, shall we? So, you've got here, this is, it's not the biggest picture. This is the last 16 games in the Premier League. This is the form table for the last 16 games. Look where Tottenham Hotspur are, right? Only the bottom 3 have less points than Tottenham in the last 16 games, right? Which was the other one I wanted to show you. There you go. Only Ipswich, Leicester and Southampton have picked up less points over the last 15 games than Tottenham Hotspur, right? You've got this as our last 10 games at home.
Yeah, look at that mighty win.
I don't know what has to happen other than relegation for the entire fan base to be booing Ange and getting him out of this football club. I genuinely don't know at this stage.
Remember when a lot of people were laughing at us saying, well, imagine if we were Man United. Look how much of a mess Man United are. Yeah. Look, they're a shambles. Amorim's a joke. They're above us now.
They are.
Yeah.
They're above us now.
Yeah. 3 points clear. 3 points clear.
Bournemouth, Brentford.
If Amorim's
guys, But Ben, the thing is, do you know what we're up against? This fan base is so divided.
Yeah.
It's unreal. Last night, I sat there and I watched Lubo debating with, is he a journalist, Paul Newman? Is he? I think he's a journalist. Yeah. Right. And I watched them debate, and Lubo was pretty Lubo-y, you know, just here's my views, I'm going to put it out there. And Paul was very defensive of Ange, okay? Not in an aggressive way, but whenever Lubo would speak, I've got to speak now, I've got to jump on that. And it was very defensive. And I thought, why are you so protective of Ange? And then when I heard Paul's argument, and I felt Paul is representative of many Ange inners, let's call them that, the Ange inners. And his arguments were, but did you like watching Conte? Did you like watching Conte? And Ian would give a one-line response. Mate, we're 14th. Like, do you get... Forget the style of football. Do you look at the league table? And it wouldn't register. And the next thing was, but the football's terrible. Like, everyone wanted him out. Ange is entertaining. And Ian would go, mate, we're terrible. Like, their argument isn't real. Savva, the argument... Sorry, Ben.
I know, but still, how much did I dislike Conte? How much did I dislike Conte still?
You said there's no point in having him here because the club aren't going to sign the caliber of players that Conte needs to do what he wants.
And I didn't like his style of play, did I?
Right? No, you called it turgid.
His style of play is better than what we're watching at Tottenham right now.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt.
Without
a shadow of a doubt.
I don't know what we're watching right now.
I did a TikTok video yesterday, right? I turned into a TikToker. I'm getting cool, right? I'm turning into a cool kid. Right?
Down with the trend.
I did a TikTok video yesterday. Do you know, I've had hundreds of comments coming back going, what, you'd rather watch I don't know why it always has to be, I'd rather that, but you'd rather Conte and Jose than this.
Yes.
This is
I'd rather Stellini than this.
I watched yesterday, like you did.
I had this last night on the show. This was one of the things. Well, you heard that, guys, didn't you? And he started talking about Ange and knocking Conte. And I said to him, listen, everyone's entitled to their opinion.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're all Spurs fans. We all want the same thing. I just couldn't understand how he said he'd rather watch the football that Ange is putting on rather than what he saw with Conte. And I just said, look, it's, as a Spurs fan, I want winning football.
Let's back up your
argument. I don't understand how you can actually talk about Ange and Conte in the same breath. One's an out-and-out winner. And the reason I was delighted that Conte came in is that there was no winning mentality or culture at the top of the club. So just maybe if Conte comes in with that winning mentality, it might just rub off on the powers that be upstairs. But obviously not.
Can I just add something to what Lubo was saying last night and what you were kind of talking about now? I was watching that stream as well yesterday, and it was good what you were saying, Lubo. I was agreeing with what you were saying. One of the things that I wish that someone said yesterday was that, when you were talking to, I can't remember the guy's name, the reporter, whoever it was, you mentioned something about how you were trying to say that you were trying to say it's Ange's fault why we've got so many injuries. He was saying, no, it's not. But then the key thing is that if someone had shown the actual stat of how much running that we have done more than anyone else, that I think it's you, Savva, or Stell's got that graphic that shows we're like out the stratosphere compared to everyone else in terms of running stats. And it's like, if you can't see the correlation between how much running you do and actually why we're getting so many hamstring injuries and injuries that are to do with the muscle, then you're blind. You're not looking at what's actually happening.
Same
Because
thing
the
happened at
stat is
Celtic.
there. Huh?
Same thing happened at Celtic.
Well, this is the thing, Stel. The stat is this is the facts. It's not just an opinion. This is factual, right? Which is why I'm so glad Lubo was standing up for himself and saying the stuff that he was saying yesterday, because I would have probably said even more yesterday, to be honest, because that is just it's just dismissing the actual facts, right? When the actual facts is there in front of you. And the thing is, Conte, I'm so glad he came to this club, even though we all knew it was never going to work out because we know what Daniel Levy's like. But I was so happy because he just blew it up in the whole world's face in basically saying it as it is in that final interview. And for me, that was the best thing about Conte's tenure. For me, that was, and I agree with all of you. I'd rather see Conte football right now than what we're seeing right now. Because like Lubo, sorry, just one more thing. Like Lubo said as well yesterday, it's like, how many times do we actually get that Ange type of football? It's like one every what? How many games? Every 50 games?
Well, I said one every 100 attacks will score a goal like we did on Thursday night.
Exactly. That's it. 1 out of 100. That is not sustainable because, like you were saying, we're just constantly open. It's ridiculous. We're open like a brothel. It's mad.
We're more open than that lily bird, aren't we?
Big up, Mark. I know you need to leave, mate. Mark, I know you need to leave, but thank you very much for joining us.
No worries, mate. I'm going to stick our link in. I'm going to stick our link in the chat. Just crap.
Yeah, go for it, man. Yeah, anyone's allowed to. Yeah, go for it. Go for it. Like, subscribe to everybody. I will say it.
Right, cheers,
thanks, Mark.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cheers, Mark.
See you, Mark.
The reason I brought this up is when we're talking about previous eras, would you rather this or that, this than that? I want to have a look at, now some of this is slightly skewed because there were managers that did 3/4 of the season or a quarter of the season example. But if we actually look since Poch left, right, when we're talking about how bad it was under Conte and how bad it was under Jose, let's have a look, right? So the 1920 season, if I'm not wrong, the 1920 season is the season where Poch started and then Jose finished, if I'm not wrong, right?
Correct.
Because we made correct. Right.
Right.
Okay. So even in that season where we had a terrible start under Poch and a manager, apparently Jose, that was terrible, we only lost 11 games all season. So it's the fourth one in. So where it says 38, 16, 11, 11, it's the second 11. We lost 11 games. The next season, right? The next season was Jose up until February. And
No,
then I believe
March
March.
21st he left. He left March
Okay,
21st.
so Joe's out till March, and then Mason still only lost 12 games, right?
Yeah.
21, 22. So this would have been Nuno followed by Conte, if I'm not wrong. Right?
Yeah.
Nuno
Conte
followed by
lost
Conte.
28.
11 games we lost that year. 11, right? 22, 23. So that was under Conte, and then it went into Stellini, etc., etc. We lost 14. None of them lost 15 like this manager. Now, when we're going to talk as well about how bad those managers were, let's have a look at those goals, which is the next column across. Look at that season where we scored 61 in 1920, 68, 69, 70, right? People are talking like we didn't score goals, but the best columns to look at the conceded column, guys. For Ange compared to the likes of Jose and the likes of Conte. Look at those columns, right? 61 he conceded last year. I don't know how many he's going to concede this year, right? If we keep going the way we are. Look at the difference. So we can talk stylistically, we can talk tactically, but the proof is in the pudding of the numbers don't actually add up to what everyone is saying. It doesn't add up. Sorry, I just had to get that out there.
Do you know what I think it is? Do you know what I think it is? If you look back at the last 2 decades, you think of all the managers we've had, the Poches, the Mourinhos, the Conte, Stellinis, Martin Joels, AVBs, everyone. You think of everyone. I genuinely don't remember Spurs being so wide open when teams catch us on an attack. You know, yesterday, for the first half, we were quite compact. We were quite sturdy, which isn't normal. But then, bang, one ball over the top. We're wide open as fuck. It's mad. Spence is out of shape. Davies is having to sprint back and he's not a sprinter. Against Bournemouth, the winger runs the whole length of the pitch unchallenged. It's so wide open. I've never seen this like on a regular basis, just wide open situations. And it's every single week or the week after you see this big exposed situation where a team hurts us. And this is why a Leicester and Ipswich can beat Spurs. Because any team can exploit space. All you need is just to have that one moment where you put it in the back of the net. But if you give an AZ Alkmaar space, they'll find it. And Parrott did, right? They'll find it. Any team can find space, so don't give it to them. We give it to everyone. I've never known a Spurs manager to allow us to be this wide open all the time.
You look at yesterday. Sorry? No,
What's the deal is?
Ozzy
got away with it a little bit because he had Popescu, Dimitrescu, and all the others, right? He had some talent, whereas we've got Johnston, Odegaard.
Who doesn't track back, can't take on a man, find a pass, can only
bring back the famous guy.
But did you not think yesterday? I thought you're right. First half was compact. We were defending most of the time. I don't think did Vicario make a save first half? I don't think either keeper made it.
Sanya hit one at him.
But yeah,
it was a pretty dull. It was a pretty dull first half with 2 poor teams. I think it's probably a fair way of putting it. Second half.
So glad I didn't watch it.
The first period, Spurs came out and Spurs had the ball quite a bit. Solanke, I mean, was it Tell who put the ball on Solanke's head? How did he miss that header? I mean, and then he put another ball in. Sonny knocked it back, and Solanke's put it over the bar from 5 yards. And you know, you just look at that, and that's how games swing. You've got to take those chances.
Don't worry, Ian. Solanke worked hard.
Don't
worry, Solanke worked hard. That's all right.
Yeah, that's the time.
I watched Stell last night, Lupo. I watched Stell's show last night, and the one thing I disagreed with him on was about that header. When you were giving your analysis, Stell, on the header that Solanke missed, for me, we talk about lack of service. No one puts in a cross. He gets a peach of a cross. That's got to nestle in the bottom corner for me. I think that's got to go in the bottom corner.
Well, I said he has to hit the target. He has to hit the target, and he didn't.
But he was so close still that if he'd hit the target, the chances are it would have gone in or come back to somebody. But that's where he's That's where he's got to earn his money. There were those chances, and he had a chance when it was 2-0 in injury time, and the keeper got down, which he should have done better with as well. So we had the chances.
The third chance, Lubo. The third chance, again, Stell talked about in the show last night, was the easy one he missed, right? Where it came across and he stretched his leg out and it went over the bar.
No, that's what I was talking about. That came back from Sonny, didn't it? Sonny knocked it back and he put it over the bar.
Is that the one? Okay, fair enough. So, that should have been a goal for sure.
Yeah, should have been.
Madison knocked it back. He chested it down.
Was it Madison? And
it's brilliant. Madison, do you know how quick thinking that was from Madison? That was really
second time. That's
right, boys. I'm going to jump, but good to see you all as always.
Cheers,
I will see you later. I will see you later. Ciao.
See you there, Ben.
But to me, the whole thing swung when he took Romero off, and the whole thing just opened out. You had Gray sitting in front of Romero and Davis. Then all of a sudden, you've lost that protection. Gray's gone into centre back. He's leagues below Romero as a centre back. He's not a centre back. All of a sudden, space is opening out, and the game.
Does anyone not think how funny it was that Sessegnon scored the second goal?
Oh, Sessegnon, he's come on and scored.
Has anybody seen the video? There was a video going about on Twitter this morning where Troy Deeney and Wayne Rooney are analysing the goals.
Yep, I sent that to Stowe last night. I saw that.
From yesterday.
I was laughing my head off.
And it's appalling. It's just, for me, as far as the league is concerned, those players have switched off. They're on the beach. They will turn up.
I think they've been switched off since Ange came into this club.
No, I genuinely think they have switched off.
No, do you know what? No, Lubo,
the manager's got to get sacked for allowing that, right? Like, you know what? You've got to like. Do you know what? I watched Match of the Day last night, and the Match of the Day, panel absolutely ripped us a new one.
That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. It was Wayne Rooney and Troy Deeney, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was it. That was.
Yeah. Oh, right, just same one. Okay, yeah. Absolutely.
I hadn't seen it that close. First half, Johnny and I were up the top, and we had a great view of the overall game. And my pal Brad was sort of 6 rows from the front, and he said, "Come down, join us. There's plenty of seats down here." So we went down and watched it from virtually pitch level. So for me, it was great to see exactly what happened. I saw that Odebear ran into trouble. I could see that Spence didn't give him any help, because 3 of them converged on him.
No, but you see, even in that play, right? I watched the highlights, and even in that play, no one made an effort to make a move. Like, no one helped him in that play where he lost the ball. Like where Odebear lost the ball. When there's three players around him. Like it's ridiculous. Like it's the same story you see every single game where players are just not making the moves. They're not going into space, and they're just letting players, like, as if they're saying, "All right, yeah, do your thing, and let's see what happens." It's kind of like that. It's like that mentality of, let's just see if you can get to do something. But the thing is, Lubo, I don't think the team has ever switched on under Postecoglou. I don't think they've ever switched on, apart from the first 10 games of his tenure. When was the last time they actually switched on? Seriously.
Can I? Do you know what I think is happening is there are, I think, 60 to 75% of the players are on board with Ange, right? They're with him, and the other.
Do you know why they're with him still?
No way, still.
We'll come to that in a minute. We'll come to that in a minute. But I think there's 40 to 25% that aren't with him. So what you've got is a mixed match of most players are with him, but a significant amount aren't. And when you put them together, you'll see a team that 1 minute looks like it's trying, next minute it doesn't. And that's because you've got the ones that want to be there and the ones that like, this manager doesn't do it for me. And that together causes this up and down. And, you know, I saw players sprinting back yesterday, but then I see Tell jogging. Like, Tell, you've just been signed. You're supposed to prove yourself and, you know, show Bayern Munich what they've missed out on so that you can secure a career back at Bayern Munich. And he's jogging back. And I think, are you on board with this? I don't think you are. I don't think you want to be
on board. I'm watching this, and listen, whilst I think I kind of agree with Lubo to a point about the Romero thing, but what I would also say is Romero still would have been done in those situations because of how wide open we allowed ourselves to get. And again, it's another game where we don't find the balance. So first off, we're not wide open. We don't concede a goal, right? I'm not saying I like that style of play, but you've got to find that blend. The second half, as soon as we start going a little bit more erratic, and like Stel said, once you've got the spaces in over the top, it's as though everyone goes, now, spaces, go over the top, right? Who is playing for him? Like, if we're going to say who is truly playing for him, Spence, for me, we'll talk about Spence being great. I think he looks like he's switched off defensively in the last 3 or 4 games. He doesn't look interested. He's not marking his man, right? Who's mentally switched on to Bentancur's gone. Bentancur has gone.
Hillo is more like it,
right?
Yes,
Basuma, he doesn't play for him.
Do you know why? Do you know why I think some of the players are still with Ange? The only thing I can think of is the fact that Ange constantly says he's at fault majority of the time. He's always like trying to cover for the players when they put in bad performances. You never hear him say like how bad the players are actually playing. And of course, I understand a bit why, but the thing is, he is over this last 18 months, he is constantly saying, it's my responsibility, it's my fault. The players, how many times have you heard him say to the media that the players have done well, they've tried hard and all this kind of stuff? He's basically covering for their fucking absolute shambolic performances. And I think that's why a lot of the players are still with him, because he's giving them that benefit. He's giving them the cover from everyone else and all the fans and all the media. And
I said this last night on my show. That's the exact same thing. He's a shield. He's
a shield. Yeah. That's exactly it. Shield. Yeah.
And he's a father figure to look. If you're Archie Graham Bergvall, you're going to like Ange because he's giving you plenty of minutes. He's giving you a kickstart in your career. And and when you're young, you're learning. You don't know much about life, so you're just respectful. Get your head down. I don't have an opinion I'm going to publicly voice just yet at my age. So I think the likes of Grays and Bergvalls are on board with him. I think what's his name? Vicario's kind of on board with it. Spence, I'm 50-50 because don't forget, for 2 years, for a year and a half, Spence got ostracized by Ange. So has he just forgot that, or I don't know. It's hard to tell. Madison's not on board.
No,
Madison's not on board. He's the only number 10 we got available. Doesn't start, and he's not playing. He's not playing for England. It's like, come on. If you're Madison, you're not stupid.
Can I read you something? Right? Somebody just sent me this, and I thought this was quite interesting. Someone said, I saw someone making the argument yesterday that when you look back at those first 10 games, it now seems as much that it was down to Ange not having had much time to influence players at that stage. As time has gone on, we have seen a steady and continual regression in shape, cohesion, effort, and motivation the more he coaches them. Would that be fair, guys?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I had a chat with an ex-pro a few weeks ago, and he said to me, all these players have been trained before coming to Spurs. Or even at Spurs, you've had Conte and Mourinho beforehand. And you're right, the training here is non-existent. Dyer mentioned it, didn't he, before he left?
Yeah, he did.
So you've got players that have been trained properly, drilled properly, and get brought in to chaos. And the discipline that they have known with their coaching is steadily going.
Let me show that.
Isn't it? It's steadily, and it's a fair, it is a fair point. It is a fair point.
Yeah, what we'd tell it to have the best training facilities in the world of football, but when you haven't got the decent coaches to train these players in these so-called top facilities, what are they actually learning?
Look at our
I'll tell you what's telling about it from yesterday.
Ryan Mason. Ryan Mason's a bloody coach at this club. I mean, it's disgraceful.
But I'd tell you what, I'd have him right now over Ange. I'd have him right now over Ange.
Yeah, I probably would too. But still, the fact that he's even there, Sav, is a problem.
I agree, but can I tell you what's more concerning for me? Right, is yesterday we're all sitting there before the game, right, worried about Fulham. Right now, I'm not knocking Fulham. Fair play. I think Marcus Silva's a really good coach. Fulham at the beginning of yesterday were 10th in the Premier League. Right. We were all talking before the game as though we were about to go into a top 4 battle against Arsenal, right? We're playing Fulham, right? Fulham, when you watch them play in that first half, especially, everything they did looked coached and drilled. The way they shifted the ball from right to left.
Yeah.
The way
movement.
they moved the ball between the left back and the left winger. And then I can never remember his name. Double barrel Arsenal lad.
Smith Rowe.
Oh, Smith Rowe.
Smith Rowe, that's it. The way Smith Rowe would go over to the left and be a triangle with Robinson and Willian. He'd then come over to this side and be a triangle with Castagne and Iwobi. And I'm looking at all the passing, the two centre mids doing their job, one dropping, one going. I'm looking at all of these players being coached, and I'm thinking, this isn't a great Fulham team. This is a well-oiled team. This is a well-drilled team. But why, after 2 years on the training ground, I know the answer. You guys know the answer. After 2 years on the training ground, Ange can't get that into our players because he doesn't know how, guys. He doesn't know how. We made Castagne and Robinson look like Cathal and Carlos overlapping on our right and left-hand side.
Robinson was excellent yesterday.
Robinson's an excellent fullback.
He's a brilliant fullback, though. Yeah, he's a brilliant fullback.
Ange would ruin him. Lubo, Ange would ruin Robinson because he'd bring him in, he'd stop him going on the outside, and he'd have him driving through the middle.
But look what he's done to Udogie. Look at Udogie yesterday. Seriously, what has happened to this guy that was smashing it up in Italy?
Yeah,
he's regressed.
He's absolutely ruined.
You know, Udogie was bought for Conte because we knew Conte wanted someone like that, and he would have been perfect for Conte's system.
Do you know what's alarming? Do you know what's alarming? If you look at these players I'm going to name, go look at them at their previous club, how they played. Porro, Spence, Dogie, and Reguilon. And Reggie, he's still at the club. Go watch them, right? Porro was a fantastic overlapping attacking wing back for Sporting Lisbon.
Yeah, he was.
Spence caught all the attention doing that at Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup. Reguilon won the Europa Cup playing for who was it in Spain? Seville, doing exactly that. And the other one is Udogie was doing similar for Udinese. They've all come to Spurs, right? They're all at Spurs now, and they're being told, no, cut in. And if you look at Porro and Spence when they've really stood out for us, it's when Spence has made the overlapping run and then come in at the last minute to square it back. And Porro either whips a cross
from the goal on Thursday night.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly.
Like the goal on Thursday night.
Have you noticed in the last couple of games, Spence has started to kind of cut inside a bit more, and it's like he's now following Ange's style, and it's making it more open for him.
Yesterday, we're doing the watch along. Why is Spence?
I saw on the highlights. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous, though.
You can't say this because we're playing entertaining football. This is what you wanted.
We're playing shit football.
Go back to that.
What we wanted, is it?
I'll go back to that pool journey.
Guys, sorry, can we do one at a time? When three of you speak, I can't hear a bloody word. Sorry.
I'll just say this and then someone else can jump on. I'll go back to that pool guy that Lubo was debating yesterday. He kept making this big issue about, but we play attacking football, but we play attacking football. And Lubo hit the nail on the head because the guy kept saying, so what football do you want? What football do you want? And Lubo said, I want Pochettino football because that was attacking with defending as well. Yeah. And people played in their right positions and did the job of that position, not some new invention of the wheel. And you know what? When Ian said that, there was nothing you could argue after that. But yet the argument kept going. Yeah, but this is entertaining. This is entertaining. We're attacking. It's like, no, we're not. We're not. It's a myth. And I don't understand why people think we're attacking.
You know what's mad? Right, I saw your post yesterday, right, where you were talking about what YouTubers had said versus what's happened and how they've doubled down, right? I saw a post this morning, and what somebody had done. This is what our fans do for copium. You know that good dribble Tell did in the first half? He did a good dribble where he cut inside two or three. Right? Yeah. The only thing I think he did in the game, other than the good cross, right? Mm-hmm. Someone's taken that dribble, put it into a post, showed the video and said, this boy has got it all. If we stick with this is what we do, Stel. We
One
take
good
those
dribble.
moments and we'll take that we're an attacking team because we've seen a player complete a dribble, right? If everybody actually watches the way Tottenham play, there is no shape or pattern in our attacking. There is no shape or pattern in our attacking. What we do is we are a moments team. We spring into action every now and then and we overload and score goals. Everyone's making it out like we were with Ericsson, Ali, Kane and Son, where we had all of that wonderful interlink and interplay with Dembele coming from deep and Wanya. We're not doing that. So I need people to stop saying to me, we're an attacking football team. We're exciting. And listen to the commentators, guys. Listen to commentators. They all say it. They all say, well, this expansive style from Spurs. Well, sorry, what? Expansive style? We've lost 15 games of football this season. Like, what? And I just don't get it.
Still going to lose more.
It's like the well's been poisoned and everyone's drinking from it. You've got people in my chat right now going, Ange in. What? We might have our worst ever points tally, our worst ever Premier League defeat number. And we're talking about the manager in. It's mad.
Just be lucky that there's three worst teams in this division. Otherwise, we'd be in a relegation battle.
Corey, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank God Ipswich, Leicester and Southampton are utter shite. They're going to go down on less than 25 points.
Sav, can I answer one comment that came in 4 minutes ago from Machina Joe? Not singling you out particularly, but I just noticed this one. You Spurs fans will all love Postecoglou when he wins the Europa League. Machina Joe, we may win the Europa League if we have enough moments of individual brilliance over the next few weeks. But if you're being serious about building a strong competitive team,
my cat dribbles better than Johnson.
And you're watching Spurs play. Now, I don't know, you may be a Spurs fan, you may not be. You may just be talking, generalizing as a football fan. We are light years away. Forget Liverpool, City and Arsenal. We are light years away from Newcastle and Forest. Yeah. Forest. Seriously, we are light years away.
I don't even think we're light years away. I just think we need a manager.
No, at the moment, Danny, at the moment we are, because the comment is about this season. You Spurs fans will love Postecoglou when he wins the Europa League. So
we're not winning the Europa League. We're not winning.
Ian, the thing is, on paper we have better teams than them. It's just we don't have a good coach. If we had a good coach who actually has a system in place, right? Honestly, they would perform 10 times better than what Ange is doing.
What do people think the Williams brothers are going to do to us?
You've got to remember, Lugo, right? Ange had a worse squad last year and managed to finish 5th, right? But because of how bad he is at managing and his tactics are so rigid, right? And he hasn't got any ability in him, or he's too stubborn to change it, right? Based on who he's playing. That's why we've regressed. And we keep regressing because you can see that the players are not coached. It's like Stel said. It's like half the players sort of want to play for him and half the players don't. And it's like this mismatch of form and this mismatch of performances. That's why it literally is a coin flip of which Tottenham's going to turn up. And it's like most of the time this season, it's been the shit Tottenham.
But the biggest issue, sorry, Seb, is that you look at Newcastle's midfield yesterday. Have a look at their midfield.
Newcastle are a class team.
They are all three of them are leaders. They're all tenacious. They're all determined. They're all winners.
One of them isn't even a midfielder.
And then you also got to look at the infrastructure of Newcastle, haven't you?
What a job he's done with Joe Linton.
Yeah. Do you know what? Dan Ashworth
of Newcastle.
Is Dan Ashworth still out of a job? Because he's the one that brought all these players in.
Yeah. The interesting thing, right? The interesting thing is, I'm going to stick up for Lubo here because I think, here, Matt, when you've said, when I say Fulham are far better, I'm a troll. The difference is you're saying Fulham are better player for player, Matt. We're saying Fulham and the likes are better than us because they are coached. They've got a structure. I don't care what anyone says. That Fulham squad is not better than Tottenham Hotspurs. I don't care what any football fan in the country tells me. I'm not hearing it. That is not a better squad than Tottenham Hotspur. And again, I've done this all season. I'll do it again. Look at that. Look at these teams above us. We have a better squad than Palace. We have a better squad than Brentford. We have a better squad than Bournemouth. We have a better squad than Fulham. I think we have a Brighton is arguable. I think we have a better squad than Nottingham Forest. This has to stop. This notion that all of these teams are above us because they've got better players.
No.
Right? Villa.
Sam,
better coached players, yes.
But Sam, it's the same thing. It's like I said earlier. It's like we finished 5th last season with the worst squad. We had less players last season, and we finished 5th. Right? That's because people weren't catching on to Ange's style. But this season, everyone knows exactly how to play against Tottenham, and that's the difference. That's why we've lost so many games, because he hasn't changed anything, and everyone knows how. Literally, if you listen to the players' interviews after every game, right, every single player says they know how to play against Tottenham. Because it's like written in the playbook. It's like, oh, Tottenham are coming up. Oh, we know what it is. Go down the wings. That's it. Bomb that right hand side where Porro is, and you're going to get so much joy. That's exactly what they do.
Put 4 people on a low block, ping a ball over the top, done.
Guys, look at AZ Alkmaar in the first leg when they beat us. Whenever Vicario got the ball, they pressed high. When our centre backs had the ball outside the box, they dropped deep. The Spurs from playing up the back and beating the press. And whenever we pressed them, their goalie just sent the ball long and wide to the attackers on the wings, and they tapped us down the flanks. What they did was AZ Alkmaar tactically, not execution, tactically showed exactly how to play against Spurs. A better team that plays with those same tactics will tear us to pieces. And this is why I said many, many months ago, I don't know when we're going to go out the Europa Cup. I don't know who's going to beat us. I'm guessing Lazio or, that's what I'm guessing now. But I said what will happen is we will play that one team where we don't know the players against a manager we've not really heard of, who is so tactically astute, he's going to do a number on us. And when we lose that game and we're out, fans are going to say, we don't know what happened. How did that happen? And it's going to be because tactically they did a number on us. It's not going to be because they're class. They're going to tactically outdo us, and they're going to have enough killers in the team to put us to bed. AZ Alkmaar don't have killers. Other than Troy Parrott and Poku, where's the killers? They don't have them. But
Troy Parrott, if we're going to be brutally honest, he's a very bang average striker.
Yes, I'm talking their level. Their level, that's the best they've got, right? But Lazio have got killers. Bilbao have got killers. Frankfurt, I think, are the 3rd or 4th highest scoring team in Germany. They've got killers, and that's without Mamouche. So, we're going to come up against a team over 2 legs that tactically we're not going to know what to do. And that's when we'll go out. That's why Spurs. That's why Spurs are not winning the Europa. It's mad to think we're going to do it. We did this in the Carabao Cup. We're going to go to Anfield. I've got a feeling we can get a draw. Really,
Sav, can I answer a comment on here for you?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Francis Reynolds, Savas, must I agree with you that we should go for a different manager? Can't see the benefit of sacking him now. Who would replace him right now? I think the key thing here, Francis, is that if you get rid of Ange, then the shackles are off with the coaching team. I think the criticism of Mason is unfair. I think that anybody who has been at the club under Poch, Conte, and Mourinho has a wealth of knowledge and knows how to do things in the correct way. I think people are underestimating Mason, and I honestly hope he comes through. I think people knock him because people think he's part of Ange's coaching team, and like Matty Wells, and they are responsible for how we are playing. They are not responsible for how they are carrying out their boss's orders. Please, let's make that very, very clear.
Ubo, can I counter this?
Right, there are.
Right. You see Ryan Mason, I don't want him at Spurs. I don't. I'll tell you why. For me, when you manage, things happen you don't prepare for. Things happen in the game where you say, right, I need to adapt. I need to tweak. I've got to make a decision. And you are judged on those decisions. If you make that one sub that comes on and scores the winner, you're held as a great manager on the day. If you make that sub where you take off Romero, the defense falls apart and you lose, it's on you. You made that call. That was your choice, okay? If you choose not to play with the 6, that's your choice. So with Mason, he has yet to prove he's a decision maker in the moment. And until he does that, we can't rate him, which is why what I wanted was Mason to leave Spurs, go to a lower league like the Lampards and the Rooneys did.
Right.
Learn your trade as a manager. And if you do well there, maybe there's a future as a coach or as a manager at Spurs. But the thing is, he's coaching without having that experience. And I think that's... And when is another thing, Lubo, when has Ryan Mason ever coached part of a winning team?
He hasn't.
When he took over from Jose, when he took over from Jose Corre, he won 4 out of 6 league games. 12 points from 6 is not bad. But I'm just talking about as an interim. I'm just talking about an interim for now. For me, the perfect solution here, give this guy his P45 this afternoon, get Poch on a flight back from America, if he's over there now, and get him in till the end of the season on a short-term loan. Agreed. If not him, Redknapp. If not Redknapp, Hoddle. If not Hoddle, Terzic. Any of those are good managers that will put these players into a proper shape. Benitez, correct. But someone mentioned Benitez to me. Yeah, in fact, funny, Ricky mentioned it last night after the show. There are people talking about Benitez. He will organise it.
We've got 9 league games and a Europa League to go. Mate, come in, steady the ship, try and win the Europa League. If you don't, no harm done. If you do, you're going to be a hero, right? But this is what makes me laugh, right? When I mention Mason, and actually that's a lie, I don't really mention Mason. When I say I want this manager out, I'm at the stage where I would let them manage themselves. I think we're that bad. I reckon the players between them could devise better tactics. But guys, if it was Mason for 9 league games, I bet you we get four wins. I bet you we get 4 or 5 wins under Mason. Because Mason, what he wouldn't do is play this stupid high line. What he wouldn't do is shackle them. He'd have the fullbacks going on the outside. I don't want him here for the long term. What I was showing you guys, and I do need to do some super chats. This is the odds for the next manager to get sacked in the Premier League. Now, isn't it embarrassing that Ange is sandwiched in between Ruud van Nistelrooy, who has won 1 in 12 Premier League games? Guess who it was against? That's right. Yeah, it was against Ange, right? And he's sandwiched in between no manager to leave. And the man the other side of that is Juric, who's got 9 points. I know it's not his fault. It was all the damage was done. But this is how bad we are, guys. This is how bad we are. You can get Ange at 3.5 to 1 to leave. That's how shit a job he's done. That he's the second favourite manager in the Premier League to leave.
He's not going to get sacked, guys.
When someone said earlier on about what managers can come in, now there are 10 managers, top-class managers, that are out of jobs, right? 3 of them are complete dreams. Zidane taken off the table. There's a few, right? You've got Fonseca. You have Sean Dyche, who's out of a job. You have Joachim Low out of a job. Scrolling down, forget about Ten Hag because he's useless. You've got Terzic, which somebody's already said. You've got
Ten Hag, I like Ten Hag.
Robert Mancini, who's still without a job. Massimiliano Allegri. And now we're going into the top 3, which is Xavi, which is, you're not going to get him. Zinedine Zidane. And
why wouldn't we get Klopp. Sorry, just quickly. Why wouldn't we get Xavi?
Because I think he has higher ambitions than to come to Tottenham.
Sure, but if there's no jobs, we have this conversation all the time. If there's no jobs available at that time, why would you not? Xavi, anyone? See, can I just tell you one thing? I know we always talk about this. Who would take over this job? I think whoever's taken over Tottenham now is onto an absolute brilliant thing. Oh, yeah. The only way we can't get worse. Whichever manager comes in here is going to take you straight up the table. Might not be this season, but next season, this manager No manager can do as bad as what Ange Postecoglou has just done with these players. I fail to believe it, guys. I fail to believe there's another manager out there this shit. Just my opinion.
No, but the thing is, I don't think
Mm.
any manager is going to really work at this club. We know that.
Yeah, but
Just
Danny, when we're saying work, again, this is where we've really got to, and I'm really big on this. You guys know I am. It's the wording. When we say no manager's going to work, you would say that Poch worked at this club. Harry Redknapp worked. Yo worked. Right? Jose Mourinho's tenure. I know people don't like to hear this. In the 18 months Jose Mourinho was manager, only 3 managers got more points in the Premier League in 18 months. So to say that didn't work, what we're talking about is no manager's going to win the Premier League title. We know that. We know that under these owners. But to say managers haven't worked, that's not true.
No, it's not that they haven't worked. I'm saying that in terms of what we want for them to achieve, it's never going to work because the club doesn't want to do what the fans want, or most fans want.
Danny, Lubo made the point, right? Lubo made the point. We're now no longer where we were in terms of let's look at Liverpool, Arsenal, and City as the benchmark. We're now going right. Can we bring in a manager to get us back
to where Newcastle is?
With Newcastle and Villa?
Yeah.
Like that's where we're at the moment, right? So the next manager that comes in, I think they've got it good. I truly believe they have. I think they've got it really, really good. Just my opinion.
I just want to see Spurs bring in a manager who is early 40s to below 50, that range, that kind of Iriola, Pochettino age, so that they're still young enough to be relevant in terms of where the game's at now, and they've got enough experience that a late 20-year-old or 30-year-old doesn't have, so they've got the experience to go with it, but they're not at that older age where they're looking more towards the latter stage of their career, and they're more stubborn because of their age, and I've been there, done it, I don't need to change things. Someone that's dynamic, basically. I think 40, 45, that's the right age, I think, as a manager that Spurs need right now. That's why I really, really do want Iriola badly. And someone that can work with youngsters, because I do, I know we disagree on this, Savva. I do think there's a lot of potential with the young players at Spurs right now, but what's happening is they're going to all be diminished because they're not being played to their true potential to see if that potential...
Don't disagree on that. So
okay, fair enough.
We don't disagree on that. I just don't go overboard about them now.
Fair enough.
Danny makes a great point. I saw him make this point in your show last night. If you're asking me to, he says, if you're asking me to judge a player, I can only judge the player on what I'm seeing. I've got no doubt if you bring in a proper manager, if we had Hertzler, right, who's a fantastic coach, if we had Iriola, who's a coach, if we had who else is a coach? Even Thomas Frank, who's a coach. I think what you would have seen, you wouldn't have seen Archie Gray, for example, playing so much. But what you would have seen is him coming on, getting proper minutes, good minutes in his position in a well-functioned, oiled team, right? Then I think there's room for progression. Unfortunately, what we've seen is our kids have been chucked in to a team with that's not drilled still, that isn't cohesive, that isn't a well-oiled machine. And unfortunately, they're just looking like young kids with no direction. I'm not saying they haven't got talent. Not at all. I'm not saying that.
Fair enough. I want a coach that can take the potential, nurture it, and see if it can become a talent. And see if it does now. Because with Kane, he had potential, it became talent. With Danny Rose, he had potential, it became talent. But at the same time, Skip and Winks, they had potential, it didn't become talent, and we had to move them on because I think they were mismanaged. And I've said this many times, I think they were both mismanaged, but it happens. Okay. I really, really feel right now that with the young players at the club, there's a potential for a genuine project, not these fake ones, to be built. And let's see where it takes us. Because I don't ever think Spurs are going to compete with Man United, Real Madrid, Bayern, even Arsenal for players. We're not going to shop in that market. They're not going to come to us. But what we can do is develop youngsters and sign competent, experienced players out there. Like, how many shows have we all done where we talk about players like Manu Kone? Manu Kone is the perfect hybrid 6'8".
Up.
He came to our ground, played for Roma, and was one of the standout players. Now, he went for 20 million. Why aren't we signing him? Instead, it's Pape Sarr. Why? Go get Manaconi. He gives you what you want. So we can attract those players. And Van der Ven, look, classic example, Van der Ven. We can get players like that. That's all we need for now. And then build it. But we need a manager that's going to develop them. Because what's going to happen, and you know it, guys, the better players that we do have, if we do have any, they will leave. And then we're back to square one again. Ah, shit. Now we've lost him. Like Harry Kane. Ah, shit. What do we do now? Well, there's nothing we can do because we're not going to go and replace Kane. We've got to try and sign 4 players that can score the amount of goals Kane did. And we haven't done that. And if Van der Ven leaves, it's going to be, shit. Let's hope Vuskovic, the 16-year-old from Croatia, comes in and is brilliant. If Vicario leaves, that's a blow. It's a big blow to Spurs because we're not going to get a goalie of that level that can shot stop and save us in a lot of games. I'm not saying Vicario is great, but my God,
unless we get a different director of football and better scouts. They're out there. They're out there, but you've got to scout them. Right? They're out there. You've got to scout them. Look, can I just...
Yeah, go on, Sam. Go on. Do super
go, mate. Go.
No, I was going to say, but I don't trust Spurs to do that.
No, for sure. For sure, I don't trust Spurs to do that. But this is. I mean, someone's made a really good point here about Xavi. Lee says Xavi ticks all the boxes. He plays attacking football. He's a winner. He's free. He's well respected in football, and he develops and plays youngsters. I mean, it could. I don't know. Listen, I don't know with Xavi. We've got to remember that he's had the job at Barcelona. It's a very different kettle of fish coming to Tottenham Hotspur. But if I see a manager coming in, developing players and implementing a playing style, I'm happy with that. I've just not seen that with Ange. Just quickly, a big up to Blaine, absolute legend, always very generous. I said, morning, Savva on the panel. The only reasons I think why Ange is still here is either the ownership is changing and we can't change, or Munn is pulling more strings and Levy is sat back. Blaine, I'll tell you what, there's theories for days, isn't there? Some people will say it's because we're still in the Europa League. Some are saying it's because there's something going on behind the scenes. Some are saying what you said there about is Munn pulling the strings. I'm not sure I believe that Levy is sitting back. I'm not sure I've ever believed that. But Blaine, very, very generous of you, my man. You've come back in again and said, my final comment, Ange is a Teflon master. Every issue is someone else's. Those kind of people end up the biggest fools. He won't coach in England again. Blaine,
good.
I genuinely don't know what team, I don't know which chairman worth their salt would look at Ange's form over the last 18 months, which is, by the way, 27 league defeats in 57 league games. Look at his behaviour with the press. Look at the way he rails with the fans and thinks, that's the guy to bring into my club. Big up to you, mate. Really appreciate that. Mark Taylor, I said, watch Frankfurt play, we'll get murdered. I watched them yesterday. They attack well. They have patterns when they go forward. They overload. I think it's going to be a bloody good game. And I think if we beat them, we're going to have to do the damage at our ground. I think going to their stadium, a second leg, I think if we don't have a lead, is going to be an uphill task. Big up to you, Mark. And the animal, who's been a member for 8 months, has said, question for you or the panel. Who do you think Levy or the board has yet to pull the... Why do you think Levy, the board, has yet to pull the trigger with Ange? We know our previous managers were booted for less. Dude,
I think it's the one our P45 works.
I genuinely don't know. The only thing I think it can be at this stage is the Europa, because the league is terrible. The cups have been 100%. Terrible. The results are terrible. Arguing with his own fan base. I don't know. I genuinely...
Savva, I think it's because they want to back a project and they see this as a project and they genuinely want to back it. And they believe that the project will come through because they've seen at other clubs that if you do stick by the manager and you do give it time, eventually something does click. The problem we've got is Ange has yet to prove to us in any way, shape or form that he is good enough to be in charge of the project. And this is where the division exists. You've got a fan base that says that they can see a pathway, they can see a future, that the project's going in the right direction and it's all part of the process. And I think the board are part of that. I think the board believe that too. Whereas you got the other half of the fan base like, no, this is nonsense. This manager can't do the basics right, and we shouldn't be losing to teams that we lose to. It's absolute bollocks, and that's I think what's going on. I think the board genuinely are trying to back this project, but I think they're backing the wrong horse. I've said this all along. They're I gave Ange 1 year. I gave him 1 year. That year's over. I don't back him anymore. That I think the board are blindly backing the wrong horse.
I agree.
I think they are. I think there's two things here still. I think number one, I saw the comment just now about compensation. If that is correct, then I'm sure that's obviously gonna factor in Levy's thinking. And secondly, I think he wants to give Ange a chance because he's been hammered for being too quick off the block and pressing the trigger too quickly. And I think he's got it wrong. In terms of the fan base, interesting. Johnny, last couple of minutes before we left yesterday still, Johnny introduced me to Sim of We Are Tottenham TV, who was a few seats along. Nice guy, very nice, pleasant guy. And listening to
absolutely deluded though, isn't he?
I'm listening to him talking, before they scored, we were all over him, and I think that fans like Sim, and I think there are plenty of them, have nailed their colours to the mast so much that they now feel they can't back down.
Yeah.
Because when you look at everything that goes from the training intensity to the injuries, I heard, when I came on earlier, when I first came on, you were talking about running stats, which have caused injury. Not only have they caused injury, they've caused Porro's form to fall off a cliff, Kulu's form to fall off a cliff, Son is knackered, and it all has a bearing. The injuries break up partnerships, and that's where the injuries take their toll. He doesn't have the options off the bench as well. So, and this is, you've got injuries like Solanke in training, Vicario at the Etihad. You can't get over that. Those are regular injuries that are sustained during matches. But there have been a lot of injuries. Players are in the red zone. He keeps playing them. The staff wouldn't have wanted Romero playing against Chelsea. He only went back into full-time training 6 days earlier. You've got to build these players up after a month out. You've got to, bodies have got to be conditioned. You cannot just say, great, they're back in full-time training, throw them back in. And he's learned because he kept them on the bench in Holland, and he's played. He played Romero. He hasn't played Romero or Van der Ven for 90 minutes since, which is sensible. He got away with it without Mar. He didn't get away with it yesterday because as soon as Romero went off, the whole thing fell apart defensively. And I just think that fans they're so desperate for this guy to succeed that I think it's like, well, we've made our colours to the mast. Now I'm going to stay with it, and if you're still in the Europa League, let's see what happens. What we need is someone to come in and lift the club, lift the players, get players bouncing into training again. Because they just weren't playing yesterday.
On that note, guys, I really do need to end the show. Listen, thank you very much for everyone. For everyone in the chat, please catch Stella and I are doing a video at 2 p.m. today. Actually, I shouldn't have said that. We're recording it at 2. I will release that at 3 p.m. today on my second channel. We're releasing a video pre-recorded. So please get over to that. Thank you very much for all the likes, all the super chats. Not doing very well on the subscribers lately, but come on, guys, I'm sure we can smash that button. Please subscribe to Tottenham on Tour, Tottenham Away. Please subscribe to myself. Danny, thank you. Stel, Lubo, Corey, thank you very much, guys. I was hoping we'd see that yellow bar today on Sky Sports News, but it's just not coming. Guys, take care. See you later. And I've got the stream tonight, 5 p.m. The Collective, where I'm going to get absolutely ruined by all the fans of the other clubs. Take care, everyone. Much love. Ange out, Levy out, Enoch out, Lang out, Munn out, everyone out.
Lubo out.
Ange in,